in the right place. Come on in, settle in. You're in the right place. A rat done bit my sister Nell with Whitey on the moon. Her face and arms began to swell, and Whitey's on the moon. I can't pay no doctor bill, but Whitey's on the moon. 10 years from now, I'll be paying still while Whitey's on the moon. Whitey on the moon. Gil Scott Heron. Welcome, welcome, artists and family. You know what it is. Finally, Thursday night has come back. Pull up a Zoom box, grab a microphone, and get comfortable. It's about to go down. Online open mic presented by the legendary, I said the legendary, Nuyorican Poets Cafe. I am your host. My name is Elemen2al. Happy Thursday. This is the jump off, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. You know what it is. You know how we do, because we've been doing this and doing this and doing this well. Week after week. Welcome to episode 44. We're going to continue to keep it going on as we have been week after week, every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. If you're watching on one of these streams, and we truly appreciate you, and you would like to join us in the Zoom, the number's on your screen, 977-539-856. Jump in, join the greatest community in the world. Want to know why I say that? Trust and believe we're going to show you this evening, as we have for the past 44 episodes. Trust. We've been doing this week after week thanks to some dedicated folks who pay these bills. All right. So we would like to thank the New York State Department of Cultural Affairs and the Howard Gilman Foundation for hosting our free online events. You can add your energy to the mix with a tax-deductible donation by going to nuyorican.org/contribute. Every dollar counts, and we truly, truly appreciate it. Make sure you are plugging in with the dopest tech in the Zoomverse. I said the dopest tech in the Zoomverse. The one and only Ron Mark Thompson, a.k.a. RMT. If you're not down with RMT by now, damn it, you should be, because that cat's dope, for real. This is where you can find me, Elemen2al.com. Take out the T, put in the number 2, Elemen2al.com. So many things going on. Make sure you plug in. Tonight's theme, Black Poetry Day, the color of creativity. So tonight's theme is in celebration of the addition of Black or African-American poets to our craft, right? In particular, this is celebrating Jupiter Hammond, right? The first Black published poet in 1761, right? And then all the contributors that have come since then. Tonight's entry poem was, of course, by Gil Scott-Heron, one of the folks who have definitely inspired me, as well as Amiri Baraka, and The Color of Creativity. So bring all your artistry. If your artwork is not on theme this evening, that is still totally cool, because we are still looking forward to all of your creative genius. Next week's theme, coming at y'all, your favorite recipe. Seasoned with love. Listen, there's something about that meal. There's something about that recipe, right? I don't care how much nutmeg is in it. I don't care how much cinnamon is in it. If they're not doing it, it will never come out the same, right? I believe your favorite recipe sometimes is connected to one of your favorite people, right? So bring your creative artistry, all of your genius, and let's get down next week. Also, here's a look at the upcoming themes, right? We are nearing the end of the year, folks. Can you dig it? Like it's coming quick. I can't believe how fast it's come. But yo, there are some things that are coming, right? Magic of words, letter to your younger self. shout out the folks, man. Listen, let's get to the rules so we can get to the artistry this evening, folks. Turn your cameras on. We are trying to simulate a live open mic stage as much as possible. Plus, we love to see all the beautiful exuberance that you exhibit when you deliver your artistry. So turn your cameras on. Have your artwork ready. All right. There are a few different settings that go into making sure that your original sound is rocking for the instrumentalists, for our resident musicians. Make sure those settings are ready to rock, and have your artwork ready when we call you up. All right. So we can keep the night moving steadily forward. Artists, you have 3 minutes to rock. All right. 30-second intro. Let the folks know how they can connect with all the incredible things that you do. All right. Before or after you rock, make sure you are changing your Zoom name to coincide with how you want people to connect with you, all right? Make sure you're plugging your information into the chat so we can continue to grow our community. Why is this the greatest community in the world? Because we continue to grow it, continue to work on it, all right? So let's continue to do that this evening. All right, in case you didn't know, now is the time to put the babies to sleep, right? Because it's about to get really crazy and explicit around these parts, all right? However, the founders of our cafe were major proponents on the freedom of speech, and we will make sure it maintains in the vein of everything we do. Therefore, there is no censorship, other than any hate speech or any ism that people may use to manipulate, which will not, I said not, be tolerated. Go around and get cute, man, and get the boot. Trust me, Ron's boot is always shined up. All right? Don't mess around. All right? But listen. What we do here is a living, breathing trigger warning. All right? Thou hath been warned. It's about to go down in this space. This is a true call and response space. All right? After these artists get up here and they share a true essence of who they are, you will see this pop up on your screen. This is when you get a chance to share all of that energy back with the room. Don't worry about the noise, y'all. It's the rowdiest night of the week anyway. All right, so we're going to continue to keep it forward. All of that energy will be returned to you in the performance of every single artist that is in this building this evening. Plus, some folks who aren't even on the list, and they will be on the good luck round. I guarantee. The guaranteed list tonight is closed. All right, sign up begins 24 hours before the show, which would be Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. All right, to sign up, you go to Nuyorican.org. You click on Thursday that you want to get down on, and you need an artist RSVP ticket. That's the only way that you're getting on the guaranteed list, and they won't populate until 24 hours before the show. All right. If you're in the tri-state area, make sure you are plugging in with the Nuyorican Bowery Slam. Shout out Jay Rose. Shout out Matthew Marroquin. Listen, the hosts are going crazy. Shout out Luna Rosa. It is a major space, all right? Because if you're trying to get down later on, you got to go in that space and you got to put in some work, all right? Also, the open mic at the Lower East Side Center. Shout out Soul Preem for putting in that work, all right? Also, the teen open mic, right, just passed, but it's still coming, all right? Make sure you inspire the next generation, get them into a space where they can explore their creativity and expand on it. Also, the final Friday Slam, shout out Tony McPherson. Listen, That's where the work is put in, right? You want to get on that slam team, get in there, put in that work. All right. Also, shout out Beatniks on the Road. Shout out Felicia Cade. So many things going on, folks. Make sure you plug in tonight's list. Look at all of these incredible artists come to get down with us on this Thursday night. So let's get to it. There's all my rowdy friends here on Thursday night. What's good? What's good, good people? So many faces, so many things that just, they make the world right. So, listen, I see some of the folks who are on the list are not necessarily in the building already. So let's keep it going. So we're going to set it off like this. Look at this. It has been a while, right? And this is why when you saw the list, you saw the color of blue. Because I get to yell at this gentleman. Because I've known this gentleman for quite a few years, right? And he has been such a pillar in our community, such a pillar in my poetic journey. And I haven't seen him in a while. And I know when I address a blacksmith, I already know that his pen is sharp as probably anyone else's, and he continues to come through with some of the sharpest work around. The one and only Michael Sindler is in the building. Sir, it's been too long, damn it.
Well,
let these folks know where they can find you. It is great to see you. Please, take it away.
There's a reason I haven't been around, and you probably won't be too surprised to find out it has to do with lighthousewriters.org. I just finished with a 8-week class with Susie Q. Smith, who people in the spoken word community all around the world know her. And it was a wonderful class, and I would be reading some of the stuff that I did in there, but I saw this theme and thought, I'll go ahead and do some things that work with the theme. But yeah, it's great to be back, folks. It's great to see everybody. So this first piece is called Intended Victim. He was not the intended victim, but he was close enough to fit the description. Young and black, he must be trouble. Blue light, siren, should have listened, should have stopped. Hey, he ran. I felt threatened. He might have had a gun. So what if he was headed in the other direction? He was not the intended victim, but he should have had respect for the badge. He should have done what I said. Hey, he ran. I shot and killed him. I didn't even try to stop the bleed and left him on like a rabid dog on the sidewalk in front of his mother's house. He was not the intended victim, but he was close enough to fit the description. And moving along to a little different thing. This is one I've done a few times over the years. It's called Shade for Mark Bradford. And if people don't know who Mark Bradford is, look him up. He's one of the greatest painters alive. So Shade for Mark Bradford. What was is not what is. Layers pasted and torn back like the scar tissue that never heals. The black skin resilient yet aching from endless abuse. The cry of pain reaching out to cover the landscapes. Broken, cracked, but indelible, even in the face of attempts to obliterate. The charred skin of bodies lynched and left to rot showed these marks, the wild and vicious slashings of floggings and canings as well. And still, no matter how much is torn away, how intense the attempt to obliterate, to desecrate and destroy, there remain patches of proud, pure black stubbornly holding fast to the canvas of history, refusing to be negated, no matter how denigrated, how dismissed, how denatured, no matter how powerful the tug of forces straining to enlarge them and to pull them from the story, to rip out native tongues and leave a dark pool of silence. But within these dark, inky depths, this black swamp of memory, a song vibrates, carried over burnt loam hills on fragile wings, wispy shadows lacing land with homespun pattern, lending definition and dignity, anchoring chords of hope, notes of defiance, and resonating tones of resilient spirit. A song of knowledge decrying that dormant within this world of thin and brittle, hasty and paltry, fated and fading, damned and doomed prejudice, lying in wait in the cool shadow of shade, the soft, pure richness of black will persevere. Okay. Thank y'all very much.
Oh, and this is why you heard me yell at that dude, because his work is so necessary in this space and in any space that he rips in. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Michael Sindler.
Oh, Michael. Whoa, that's
nice.
great. Woo.
Loved that.
Thank you, Michael. Good to have you back.
Yes. We missed you for sure. I'm glad you're back.
The Starship is underway, folks, and what better way to start it off than with our resident blacksmith, the one and only Michael Sindler, right? Coming through with lines like close enough to fit the description. Like, come on. Like, do you know how many times that this cat right here was stopped and that was the first thing that fell out of their mouth? Well, you fit the description. Got a problem. Should have done what I said. Right. And the second piece, you said refusing to be negated. I think when you step outside of what they believe you to be, you can refuse to be negated, right? Rip out native tongues and leave a dark pool of silence, right? I saw Dr. Z Page jumped on that one too. That was pretty hot, right? Within the world of thin and brittle and in the cool shadow of shade. Man. Sometimes you don't know when people are hating on you, right? Because shade means different things in this time. You know what I mean? Sometimes you don't know. It's not as cool as you might think it is to rest in the shade. Appreciate you, Michael Sindler, for doing all that you do and always shouting out lighthousewriters.org. Truly, truly appreciate you. Looking forward to hearing some of that work, too, that you put in. All right. Coming up next, as I mentioned, this incredible poet is about to do something to you that they continue to do every single time they come to the mic. I've come to learn that you don't know what to expect from this poet, but it's probably going to be absolutely dope. The one and only Dr. Z Page in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you. Always great to see you. Please take it away.
Thank you. Have another new one I wrote last night, thinking about bringing it to the Monday Bowery Slam. Trying a little something new out. I'll start with a common question for my profession. How are you doing today? Often, mouths breathe silence as the interrogation by a therapist begins. All we hear are the sounds of syllables spoken by the second hand, mounted on the walls designed by credible diplomas, as displayed by overpaid professionals. They go tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock. How many seconds must pass for me to tolerate the pause after I ask? Tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock. 1 minute's lapsed. Okay, I'll be the good cop who lets them grab the water glass they grasp onto to let the dew dribble onto their feelers to distract them from their feelings. I comprehend their thoughts are circles and creating questionable responses that are delayed until I doubt their benefit. But I give them the benefit of the doubt, so I repeat it for their attention. How are you doing today? I've probed so many times. They want to answer, but can't trust anyone with the reasons why they're staying quiet. Like you, I'm human, Homo sapiens, the same genus and species, so I grow impatient. I ask them to sit, but mean to emotionally stand in a position with their lips open for me to reach inside to the back of their mind. They pull a ball gag out of the back of the closet while I hold a flashlight and a speculum in mine. I know they're trying, but why won't they cry? There are no tears for the times they were beaten and raped. It was like trauma had erased the faces of people who abused them. They were lost in a smog over a mountain of dissociation. It would take a seasoned Sherpa to escalate them from this disposition. They were so neglected, they lost their identity. Many tell me they don't even feel like a person anymore. There's a numbness that never fades, like dry ice draping their arteries until their organs disintegrate. Amnesia starts a countdown until they're too far locked away with gray scrubs in the back alley of an inpatient facility. It goes tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock. Where is the will to live if everything is meaningless? They hurt themselves to feel, but can't feel the hurt they have. A knife scratches time marks onto their arms at the frequency of a metronome set at allegro. The record skips as their behaviors are entered into a health record. I know I hate reading mine. Let me tell you, there's nothing infallible about a therapist's mind. We have the same mental illness, just trained to override how stress hijacks the brain's overdrive. I swallow my patient's trauma and spit it onto a colleague who receives it later that week. Sometimes I want to give up and stop. But the clock keeps hypnotizing me. Tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock. Now, when my therapist asks me, "How are you doing today?" I've just learned to say, "Okay." Thank you.
Oh, yo, that's just, I told you, they come through to put in that work. Unmute yourself, give it up for Dr. Z.
Oh man,
Hey!
that was beautiful.
Terrific.
That was amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Really good.
Looking forward to hear that on Monday. It's just, wow, powerful, powerful.
Absolutely.
Very poignant. Yeah.
It's like listening to the inside of your brain.
Yeah. On the other side. Yeah. The inside out.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh,
all that training about brains was worked out.
see, listen. This is what happens when you get creative beings together, right? They start analyzing and critiquing what you do. But even once that happens, it's still just dope. Like even once you understand the chemical formula or the breakdown of the compound, it's still dope. It's they said there are no tears for the times they were beaten and raped. That damn TikTok, like I that's kind of haunting. Dr. Z Page. That's kind of haunting. That the way that you do that. Don't even feel like a person anymore. They hurt themselves to feel the hurt they can't have. That's just multi just on point. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Z Page, for doing what you're doing, sharing it with us. That new shit's hot. It's fire. And once you put it on the stage, trust me, the audience is going to agree with me. Looking forward to it. Appreciate you. All right. Coming up next, listen. I love when this cat comes through, right? Because he just moving and shaking and doing so many different things, right? Babies on the move, right? But he always comes through with some incredible poetry, right? Continues to post his poetry on IG, man. And this is probably the only cat that I know that's still rocking with Tumblr. The one and only Rich Glennon in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you. It is always great to see you, sir. Please take it away.
Elemental, everybody. Rich Glennon on IG and Tumblr, as Elemental mentioned. I'm going to do 3 short pieces here, and all new ones too. This first one is called The Page. The page brings to light mere specks on my screen that while stuck in the muck of baby panda clips, wobbling apostrophes atop precarious beams, who end up commas on the ground, unable to sit up, I wouldn't have seen, and exposes these frauds claiming faulting properties. With a thumbnail, period imposters are deleted, so that my cursor can crawl surely with its hazards blinking. For pauses will happen periodically, but when I end belongs to me. All right, this next one's called Fake Book. If you look at his Facebook page, you would never know he was decapitated. His head and him are still together, bonded on a beachside balcony, sharing shadows at various bars and restaurants with other people and their respective heads. Button-downs, band t-shirts, silver chains, and occasionally a tie. Sometimes the head had a hat. Sometimes it was shaved or spiky. Sometimes, when they patronized a casual place, stubble ashed a face that must be sculpted back from its deathly frown by now into a tight-lipped slumber under a thick cake, layers deep, stitched necklace hidden behind a starched collar. And this last one is called Remembering Grandma. When I can't find the words, she appears with hers, assorted atop a paper cake plate and a folded napkin. With a full mouth, I discuss my cut finger, how I saw stars. I express sympathy with what a sin bawled in my cheek, and relay how I must be going soon. My wife is making buttons. Alone on the drive home, without skipping a beat, wit of the stairs, so to speak, without lulls or settled word choices, I'll review the lunch with Grandma, sliding well-timed pickled phrases into my mouth from the passenger seat. All right, thank you.
That cat said pickled phrases. Is that what he said? Unmute yourself. Give it up for Rich Glennon.
There you go, Rich.
Okay.
Are those dill, those pickled phrases? Are they sweet?
Yeah.
I like to imagine the bread and butter ones.
Okay.
Oh, I love those.
Yeah, I make those. Yeah. Not with phrases. I make them with cucumbers.
I'm done. I'm done with Rich Glennon. That was fantastic, sir. Oh my goodness. Anyone else would have dived into that? Would have dipped there? Oh my gosh, that was just. I'm gonna be. Oh man.
Dip their pickle.
Yeah, I'm gonna be. You know what I mean? I'm gonna have plenty of pickled phrases from here on. Listen, thank you, sir. Thank you. Like I don't know how many phrases I'm gonna dip in my pickling. Like, oh my gosh, like pickled phrases. I've heard of pickled okra, pickles, bread and butter. He said spicy, pickled phrases. Onomatopoeia. Like, oh, that's fantastic. That's just he said baby panda clips, cursors with their hazards blinking, sharing shadows. When I can't find the words, she appears with hers. I mean, you could be so lucky sometimes, right? Grandmas are the best, right? Grandmas are the best. Shout out Graham, right? I think Graham just turned 89 recently. Shout out Graham. And still got that work for you. For real. So, and then listen, the pickle phrases, listen, fantastic. Love it, sir. Appreciate you for doing what you do and staying consistent with it. Shout out to fam. Appreciate you. All right, coming up next. Been a few weeks since I've heard this gentleman, but he continues to come through and share all of his energy with us. Shout out all the educators in the building. The one and only Professor Platinum is in the building. Man, always look forward to hearing from you, sir. Let these folks know where they can find you. Great to hear from you always. Please take it away.
Thank you, Elemental, very much. Great to see you, RMT and all the poets, as always, of course. Tonight I have two short pieces. This first one I call Forks. Here's the brief epigraph. When you come to a fork in the road, take it, Yogi Berra famously quipped. An accidental genius, maybe. And here's the poem. At that crucial point, you could have stayed there. You had lots of contacts, get married, have kids, a house on the road you grew up on. Open a restaurant, seafood mostly, shrimp and scallops, lobster rolls, fish and chips. Find a great location, make them walk through beach sand to get a picnic table by the bay. Work your tail off half the year, the other half hibernate. Or at that crucial point, you could have gone to college, far away from home, meander quite a while, and then even farther away from what was once home, get married, no kids, a tiny apartment on a road you've never heard of, become a traveler, an educator, maybe even a writer, painfully aware of the bigger picture and the tiny dot you've become in it, a gardener of everything. One tine in that fork, that road, making all the difference, making all the days, making you like Yogi, an accidental genius, maybe. Next piece, in recognition and celebration of today, National Black Poetry Day, here's a short piece from one of the masters, the great Gwendolyn Brooks. We real cool, and it's dedicated to the pool players, 7 at the Golden Shovel. We real cool, we left school, we lurk late, we strike straight, we sing sin, we thin gin, we jazz June, we die soon. Thank you. It's Gwendolyn Brooks.
Yeah, like he just come on now. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Doug Silver.
Yeah, I loved your poem, but it just doesn't get any better than that Gwendolyn Brooks.
Thank you,
Love
Michael.
Gwendolyn Brooks. Love Gwendolyn Brooks. She's one of my
Great
favorites.
American poems, period.
Yogi and Gwendolyn, you really paired it up. That really defines America.
That's right, Paul. Yeah.
Hey, Bear is one of my favorite yogis of all time. Is right up there with Mirabah. Yeah.
Y'all are incredible, for real. And I love how folks got all of it, right? We got all of it, right? Yes. Listen, when you come to forks in the road, you have to make a decision, right? An accidental genius, I guess. Lots of folks stumble into genius, I guess. I love how you said make them walk through the beach sand. Listen, if it's worth it, people will do it, right? If you build it, they'll come. To live in a place on a road you never heard of, I think that there's significance to that. We real cool. We sing sin. Like I love how very poignant Gwendolyn Brooks writes. Like, learn about it. Appreciate you. Always the educator. Listen, would love to sit in your classroom. Truly appreciate you, Professor Platinum, for what you do and sharing it with us. All right, coming up next, this artist continues to come through, right? Bringing her unique artistry to this platform. Listen, haven't heard from her in a couple weeks, but I guarantee she's coming with that work, right? Artists like this, They always got that work in their system. They can't help but get it out. The one and only Mini Mars in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you. Always great to see you. Come on, take it away.
Hi, I'm Mini Mars. You can find me at Elemen2al Poet on Instagram and TikTok. And I'll put that in the chat afterwards. I have 2 short pieces I want to perform. My first piece is titled Will I Die in Harlem? Will I die in Harlem? Melt in the sun, on the sidewalk like dog shit? Will I disappear here? Maybe it's jazzy to die in Harlem. Estranged from family, fucking who I wanna, being amused to others, disappearing in a neighborhood, lost dreams and art on Saturdays. Behind on rent, spending my last on a fruit stand with the fruit man, rats scurrying across my floor, liberated, unhappy, gay, tear-soaked stains, waving hey to Mr. J, known by few, seen by many. If I do, I'll come with the breeze. Give ease as I wrap around the back of your neck on an apocalyptic summer day, or be with the street cats, occupying neglected backyards owned by sleazy property managers, or maybe I'll come with the rich island concrete soul, or I'll travel through Harlem songs and Harlem nights together with other Black Harlem refugees. And my last piece is in honor to my sister whose death anniversary is coming up this weekend. And so I just wanted to perform it in her honor. The 20th feels like a horror story. The 20th feels like I can't move. The 20th feels like a distant dream. The 20th feels like the day that I lost you. The 20th feels like I can't breathe. The 20th feels like I'm forced on my knees. The 20th feels like the Wailing Wall, like a kingdom whose leader is bound to fall. The 20th feels like a ghost, like I'm a phantom of the opera, of a story untold. Did I say I couldn't breathe? Like the whole day the skill got away from me, like the whole day a spell is cast on me, like a ghost is assigned and following me, and the only way it leaves, the way it is bound, is through my grief. When I give it a sound, when I encapsulate it and wrap it like a baby in the weak arena of my chest, when it's birthed through a moan, when it's sang through a song or enraged in a stump. Did Kirk Franklin understand the power of that song? When my grief wants to move through rage, my body moved in waves, my feet pound the floor and my fists do a wave, my body rocks, my heart stops, I'm entranced and dance at the altar. My grief moves through me like holy water and the sacrifice is received by you. My grief reprieved by you, and you miss me. The 20th feels like you missed me, like you knelt down and kissed me, like you rescued me. The 20th, you rescued me. You did not leave without honor. You invest in me. Your death put death in me. You killed the rest of me. The part I couldn't shake off. With you, it left me. The depth in me found a song. It wasn't right to stay all alone. You clarified my wrong. You, a sinner, gave a sinner a mirror. I am me. I see clearer a picture. You gave me the rest of my life simplified. No more answers. Your holy smile, your sweet song. I sing along. I dance at the feet of your Libra throne. The patting of your weave in the cereal bowls, the late night fire in the high school halls. You were tall in your pursuit, round in your ways. You were loud about your human. Your confidence gave space to those in race to war the world. You saw everything and they told you that you were just a girl. You were a god, because we are gods. And when you died, you became human. What if we worship the ones we loved before they escaped? Thank you.
Wait a minute. Yeah, I saw that too. Michael Sandler, I heard that too. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Mini Mars.
Terrific.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh, it's an incredible tribute.
Yeah.
So heartfelt.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, just so deeply moving. Take care of your heart.
Yeah.
Definitely. The tears you shared this evening are not in vain, right? They are strengthening, right? They are steps forward. And the way that you know, kind of re-own your power is very evident in how these both of these poems were written. She said, "Will I die in Harlem?" Right? Maybe it's jazzy to die in Harlem. I don't know if it's jazzy to die anywhere, but Harlem, hey, maybe. I mean, you know what I mean? Shout out 125th. Other Black Harlem refugees, right? She said she's liberated, unhappy, gay. Listen, it's important to say those things and be exactly that, right? Will you die in Harlem? Maybe, but you're making your presence felt. You're making your name known, so the world knows that not just you, but Harlem was here about more than just the borough. Feel me? Feels like the day that I lost you, right? The 20th feels like a ghost. That's just a heavy one. You were loud about your human, right? When you died, you became human. That's just like, y'all take that as you will, but that's a heavyweight blow. That's a good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Appreciate you, Minnie Mars, for doing what you do and the effort and energy that it took to deliver that. We appreciate you. All right. Coming up next, our resident piano man is not in the building. We will come back to him. However, Brooklyn is in the building. This next poet continues to come through with that work. Listen, and he was just like, listen, I got this work that I need to put in. So come through. The one and only Mark Kensiajan is in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you. Always great to see you. Come on, take it away.
Can find me here. Hey. Hooded men. Apparition. Drenched in porcelain, ivory, linen. Thugs on horseback. Disenfranchised, lynched, and terrorized. My kith and kin. Auction blocks. Bodies appraised. Dangling. Commodified. Demand and supply. Plagued. Bizarre, peculiar crop. Jackson, Selma, Birmingham, making rounds, hangings by rope or string, cross burnings, a circle of flames and bombs surround churches and school children, as to their place of refuge, their residence. Beaten, flesh turns, violet, black, and blue, river washed, dismembered, disfigured, bulging eyes, pubes aflame, groins mangled, maimed. 1930s, the hooded sweatshirt, pragmatism for laborers in cold warehouses, a shifting paradigm, the hoodie, hip-hop, streetwear, and cover for hoodlum, hooligan, deviant, racketeer, affiliate, breakdancer, and graffiti artist. I walked 6 blocks to my favorite discount store in the county of Kings on Empire Boulevard. Open your bag. Let me see what's inside. An East Indian man opens his mouth. Pinocchio comes out. I complied as if stopped by the cops. Large plastic Dwayne Reed bag, 18-roll toilet paper pack, and 4 nightgowns from Denise on separate receipts. He masks suspicion with small talk and the curiosity of a boy. Will that be all? Yes, I replied, puzzled and overcome by the noise. He takes my 5 subject notebooks and plastic folders to be rung by another at the register. Gandhi would not have authorized that race card. At the same token, fell victim to his own, who countered his doctrine. I paid him dust on earth and collected myself. All phoenix, elephant in the rough. He is the foil to the hooded men, disguised as common folk, talking a good game. I'm on the train, browsing my surroundings. A Caucasian woman's eyes catch mine. She clutches her purse. I look away, now very aware of the divide. Thank you.
That is the work, y'all. Come on. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Martensia.
Such a depth in there. You just, I mean, there were things that just absolutely chilled, just things that just made you so just boiling mad. And you just really just incredible range of imagery, just great piece.
I have to agree. Listen, when you put in that work, right, and your colleagues can recognize it, right? This is not necessarily about, oh, good or bad. This is about the lines that you took the time to wrote are felt by your contemporaries, right? Pragmatism, right? Thugs on horseback. I was saying as I was saying it, I saw Dr. Z Page jump on it. And I'm just like, yo, that's such a gangster line, right? Thugs on horseback. It's so gangster. It just is, right? Affiliated break dancers and graffiti artists, in the County of Kings. I was thinking that reminded me of another cat that we know. Shout out Lemon Anderson. Did his poem about the County of Kings, man, for real. Just a very storied place. Gandhi would not have authorized that race card. I love that line, right? The hooded men disguised as common folk. The hooded men disguised as senators. The hooded men disguised as politicians. The hooded men disguised as normal everyday folk that run around your city. Be careful. Appreciate you, Markensia, for doing what you're doing. For real. Brooklyn in the building. Stand up. No, they do. Appreciate you. Coming up next, all the way across the pond, the most eloquent writer I know. Trust and believe you're about to find out why. The one and only Lantern Carrier in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you, Lantern. It is always great to see you, sir. Please take it away.
Thank you, my man. Happy to be back. Not quite on the button, but I'll try. As a creative, Baldwin was a genius. One as sharp, wise, and eloquent with his tongue and words, just as he was tricky and persuasive with his answers. He did not care for the way that suggested he knew what his opponents were talking about, but constantly referred to the truth, and I must say, quite articulately, of what he saw and knew from the light of his own experience. Maya was known for assassination rhythm, but had that same inner fire too, only perhaps more tempered by the rain of mercy from within. She was born blessed, a poet woven on the hammer and anvil of the supreme alchemist itself. Maya tap danced her poetical cadences, vivacity and charisma to hearts international, like Aretha, singing from the profundity of a soul, both having known indignity and injustice, yet choosing the path trodden by empresses. They knew how to soar on the wings of love, transmitting it as blessings to those most in need. Harriet and Nat were exemplary souls whose hearts were colored in the crimson red of creativity. Spurred by an assertive resilience and dauntless courage, they died daily for the freedom of the enslaved so that others would live. Farewell, my brother. I may not have been at the pearly gates for your Elysian lap of victory, but my heart still hears the conch's blow, even as minstrels beat the djembes to welcome you at the supernal gates of paradise. Creativity is the light of love, expressed in and through the artistry of its soul, like Toni Morrison, in a plethora of ways, according to their origin, environment, nature, and development. The Nigerian writer Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie is a beacon of light and trailblazer for the African diaspora, creating waves against stereotypes so often used against Black people. Mary Seacole used her nursing skills to bring the dying to life. Her healing hands, a panacea for others on the ships and battlefields of Crimea. Mandela's resilience and courage was the stuff of heroes, and in the great Indian freedom fighters like Shreya Sen and Subhash Chandra Bose had to be extremely creative to avoid being sent to heaven by the British Raj at any moment. Alas. Back in Alabama, Booker T displayed his genius with crops, while Frederick Douglass' sword was not only his pen, but his powerful oratorical skills and political acumen, creating awareness of the basic rights denied the enslaved and impoverished in his country. Poetry Day is inherent in the ethnicity, origin, and culture of the African people, woven in the call for unity by Amanda Gorman, in the blood of bigotry and inequity, pushing the Black poets like Muhammad Ali to carve an essential niche for themselves, to tackle the darkness of an abhorrent past, to move forward into the glory of tomorrow's sunshine. Hunton Carrier, thank you.
Listen, as eloquent as that cat is, he be in here talking that talk, don't he? Unmute yourself. Give it up for Lantern Carrier.
Man, terrific.
Lantern, you did it again, man. That was great.
Awesome. That was
That
great.
was just great.
Yeah.
Yeah, just,
What a litany of total heroes. Yeah.
Mm.
And you just explained each one of them so well.
You're welcome.
Like I don't know how you do that all the time, right? But you always make it like you could be describing or reading the ingredients to a bag of manure, and you would probably make it sound spectacular. So like I don't know how you do it, but you do because of the energy and the effort that you put into your words, right? They just come pouring out of you like this, and I'm thankful that you're a part of our community. Tricky and persuasive with his answers, right? The supreme alchemist herself, love that. Even as minstrels play the djembe at the gates of heaven, come on. He mentioned Amanda Gorman and Ali, and then he mentioned Mandela. And I have to mention a Madiba quote. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. And when you invoke spirits like that, sir, you are putting in the work. Thank you so much for doing what you do, Lantern. Truly appreciate you. All right, coming up next, out on the West Coast, I see him rocking his badass Dodger hat this evening. Listen, trying to do away with the Subway series that is looming in the air, trust and believe. This next artist continues to come through and do some incredible work with his beautiful guitar. The one and only Bill Elkins in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you. It is always great to see you. Please take it away.
Thanks, Elemental. Yes, I can be found on Instagram, Midwestern Bill 51. Anyway, yeah, I was just looking at the score, and Cleveland came back to tie the game with 2 out in the bottom of the 9th. It's 5-5 in the 10th. Anyway, and the Dodgers and the Mets are tied 1-1. Okay, I'd like to do a song. It's entitled Time Will Tell. It's a song I wrote. Like any urban environment, you see a lot of people on the streets, a lot of homeless, and it's one of those kind of songs. Hope you like it. We learn more about life with each rotation around the sun. Our lives should get better with each and every passing day. Why do we not hold each other and celebrate our existence on this earth? Time will tell, my friends. Time will tell. Time will tell, my friends. Time will tell. Our homeless struggle on the streets, seeking shelter from the storm. While many of us say addiction and mental illness is their norm. What will it take to learn that united we stand and divided we fall? Time will tell, my friends. Time will tell. Time will tell, my friends. Time will tell. Young girl with baby begs for food, and we look the other way. Old man cries for help. We hear, but we walk away. We become narcissistic rogues, oblivious to those in need. We no longer see the forest for the trees and seem to have no empathy. Life is what you make it, I hear many among us say. Such are simple-minded platitudes. Actions, not words, may save the day. Politics and religion divide us. Can't we all somehow do better? Time will tell, my friends. Time will tell. Time will tell, my friends. Time will tell. People now live in landfills as the world drowns in its own trash. Homeless vets at traffic lights beg for help as we pray the light turns fast. We become narcissistic rogues, my friends, oblivious to those in need. We no longer see the forest for the trees. We seem to have no empathy. We seem to have no empathy. We seem to have no empathy. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, and you can see the effects of having no empathy. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Bill Elkins.
Yeah, we need more people to speak up for empathy. We need
Yep,
to have it in
definitely.
our lives. We need to use it when we vote.
Yep. Yep.
Indeed.
Beautiful reminder in such a nice way, but such a strong message. Very, very well done.
Thank you.
You loved the swinging beat and rhythm in that tune. It was almost like a dance hall piece.
Yeah, it's a classic Elkins melody.
It's true.
Oh,
Dancing to the polling hall. Yeah. Thank you.
he said a classic Elkins melody. I love that. I love that. Listen, you always have such a groove, right? What I say about artists or lyricists, when they have their flow locked in, you have your groove so locked in, right? It's like the natural motion of the earth, of the ocean. That's how your flow is. It's just a natural fluid movement. And I always appreciate hearing your work, sir. Thank you. Thank you for being so dedicated to it. Like, your work is timeless. I've told you that plenty of times, but it is. Thank you. All right. Coming up next, before we hit halftime, this incredible poet comes through and shares her incredible perspective. Listen, after last week's poem, I don't know. Like I'm just ready. Like I got my Molotov cocktails ready. Like I'm ready to rock and roll her. Because she is one of those. The one and only Bonnie Soloway in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you. It is always great to see you. Please take it away.
Thank you, Elemental. I don't believe I'll be able to outdo last week's poem for quite a while, but thank you for that. I'm on B. Soloway. I have two pieces, so I'm going to try to read fast. This first one is mine. It's called Empty Spaces. Locals complain the park is a mess since the homeless found comfort at the neighborhood's expense. So police cleared the park. The homeless are gone, save for two men asleep on the lawn. Even a lone squirrel looks slightly confused. So much empty space on his search for some food. Police presence increased the last several weeks. There's been some bad crimes, an unfortunate streak. Between mental illness and needle exchanges, it's not hard to see why crime's been more prevalently dangerous. I rarely engage with the park's homeless crowd. Still, an interesting texture and curiosity aroused. There's a lonely sterility observing life while alone. If I sought empty spaces, I could just stay at home. There's something about company that energized my brain to travel new places where stories began. Without them, I'll likely focus more on the trees and the broad empty spaces and the possibility that neighborhood folks with kids, dogs, and friends will come back to the spaces homeless laws now upend. And this next one is a tribute also to one of my very favorite poets, Gwendolyn Brooks. And this is called The Ballad of Rudolph Reed. I took some editorial license at the end because it was a word there I don't like to use, so you'll probably figure that out. Rudolph Reed was oaken. His wife was oaken too. And the two good girls and his good little man oakened as they grew. I'm not hungry for berries, I'm not hungry for bread, but hungry for a house where at night a man in bed may never hear the plaster stir as if in pain, may never hear the roaches falling like fat rain, where never wife and children need go blinking through the gloom, where every room of many rooms will be full of room. Oh, my home may have its east or west or north or south behind it. All I know is I shall know it and fight for it when I find it. It was in the street of bitter white that he made his application. For Rudolph Reed was oakener than others in the nation. The agent's steep and steady stare corroded to a grin. Why, you black old tough old hell of a man, move your family in. Nary a grin, grinned Rudolph Reed, nary a curse, cursed he. but moved in his house with his dark little wife and his dark little children 3. A neighbor would look with a yawning eye that squeezed into a slit, but the Rudolph Reeds and the children 3 were too joyous to notice it. Were they not firm in a home of their own, with windows everywhere and a beautiful banistered stair and a front yard for flowers and backyard for grass? The first night, a rock big as 2 fists. The second, a rock big as 3. But nary a curse, cursed Rudolph Reed, though oaken as man could be. The third night, a silvery ring of glass. Patience ached to endure. But he looked, and lo, small Mabel's blood was staining her gaze so pure. Then up did rise our Rudolph Reed and pressed the hand of his wife, and went to the door with a 34 and a beastly butcher knife. He ran like a mad thing into the night, and the words in his mouth were stinking. By the time he had hurt his first white man, he was no longer thinking. By the time he hurt the 4th white man, Rudolph Reed was dead. His neighbors gathered and kicked his corpse. That dark man don't belong here, they said, the neighbor said. Small Mabel whimpered all night long for calling herself the cause. Her oak-eyed mother did no thing but change the bloody gauze. Thank you.
Listen, coming here with those haunting tales. That is that work. I'm telling you. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Bonnie Soloway.
Yes, Bonnie. Oh, yes.
Thank you.
It's the bloody glass. Oof.
Yeah, it's one of the most moving poems of hers that just, it almost haunts me all the time when I read it, but she's amazing. So, anyway, thank you.
But I'm biased. I love it. I love it, but I'm biased. You know what I mean? I'm biased. But I truly enjoy and relish in the idea that you're going all the way in on what you do, right? Ron, jump in on this, right? Because I'm going to Ron at halftime, folks. We're going to Ron, but I want Ron to jump in on this also. The fact, you know, Bonnie, that you're really going in on this poem, right? And how you bring it in. You said, okay, well, here's my poem, but here's also Gwendolyn Brooks' poem, right? So by bringing in her poem, you're saying, this is my inspiration, but this is how much I've been influenced by this person's work, so much so that I will take a backseat to this. You said it's almost haunting. It is so much so. Ron, tell me how you feel.
Ooh, that's amazing. Yes, the inspiration, you know, everything. Elemental. Again, I am just in awe, you know, with the themes that you're giving out, and you know how you make us become better poets and performers, you know, and education as well, because I had no idea that October 17th is Black Poetry Day. So thank you again, Elemental. Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you, everyone who has performed thus far. Great, powerful night. I really, you know, enjoy listening to everyone. For those who may not know me, I am Ron Mark Thompson. I am the tech assistant in the background for our wonderful host, Elemen2al the Poet. Both of us are not in the Nuyorican Poets Cafe at the moment. We're zooming in from away from Manhattan because the Nuyorican Poets Cafe remains under construction. If you happen to walk by it, you will see. You will have noticed that the building is still up, but they took down the fire escape already. And if you go to our Facebook page and Instagram profile, you will see pictures that our executive director Labrua has taken from inside the cafe, so you can follow along with the process. But fear not, we are continuing our offsite programming both online and in person. Today happens to, for this week at least, happens to be the last program for this week, the online open mic, but we have a busy week coming up. If you cannot wait till next week, may I recommend in the meantime, if you are in the New York City metro area, there is currently being held, the Dodge Poetry Festival. It started today and it goes all the way to Saturday. If you look some of their postings there, J Rose, our Monday night Bowery Slam host, she performed there. Paul Concasso, our Voices and Vibes and Karaoke host, performed there today, and he will be back there tomorrow and Saturday as well. It is held in and around the New Jersey Performing Arts Center. They have indoor events and outdoor events. I'm going to try to stop by there on Saturday. Again, if you can make it, I definitely recommend, you make it to Newark, New Jersey. Tickets and information for all the different events are at njpac.org/Dodge, DODGE, and they have several ticketed and free events going on. So I definitely recommend that. However, next week, the Nuyorican Poets Cafe, we are back to a busy week. As Elemental already mentioned, we are continuing every Monday. The Nuyorican Bowery Slam at the Bowery Poetry Club, 6:30 p.m. This coming Monday, it is hosted by J Rose. I will be in the at the tech table, doing both the DJing or attempting to do the DJing and being the scorekeeper and timekeeper. And I look forward to see Dr. C. Page there, and I hope everyone else who can make it join us there. And then, can you believe it? Next week already is the last Friday of the month, October 25th. We are back at the Puerto Rican Traveling Theater. Tony will be hosting, and our other Monday Bowery Slam host, DJ Luna Rosa, will be participating in her other job, which is our DJ on the Final Friday Slam. October 25th, 9:30 p.m. Get your tickets through our ticket site or go directly to nuyorican.org/FFS, which stands for Final Friday Slam, and you can attend our Final Friday Slam. Also, next week, back at the Lois Cider Center, Elemental mentioned it. Yes, this month was our return there. And Sol Preem hosts his open mic there every second and fourth Wednesday of the month, meaning October 23rd. We have reduced the ticket price. It is now only $10. It is now live streamed. So the online open mic is no longer the only live streamed event and program here at the Nuyorican Poets Cafe. But this month we also started live streaming our in-person open mics at the Lois Cider Center. However, you cannot perform online because we're not zooming it, we're live streaming it via YouTube, but you can see everyone who performed there in case you missed it, or if you did go there and participate, you can then rewatch your own performance. 6 o'clock next week, October 23rd, and don't forget Felicia Kate will return November 6th for the Women Orator Wednesday, all at the Lois Cider Center, East 9th Street. Go to our online calendar, nuyorican.org/calendar, to get your tickets, or show up and you can get tickets at the door. Felicia will be back next week on a Thursday, October 24th, 6 p.m. at the International Center of Photography. This is our bi-monthly open mic there. It is usually based on some of the photographs, exhibits, and galleries that they have at the International Center of Photography. But this month, you do not have to bring a photo. We made it the theme, We the People. Just in case you haven't noticed, with many of the poems, that we heard throughout the last weeks, there's an election coming up here in the United States next month. So the theme for next week's open mic on Thursday, 6 p.m. is We the People. And next weekend on Saturday and Sunday, there are two free events we're co-sponsoring. First, the Teenage Open Mic, which we are collaborating with Rightopia Lab and P&T Knitwear. That's Saturday, 10/26 at 5 p.m., free for teenagers. And on Sunday, October 27th, from 11 a.m. all the way to the mid-afternoon, we are co-sponsoring 3 3 free workshops at La Marqueta, our Barrio Poetics series, which is curated and organized by Mariposa Fernandez. You see, there are 3 workshops coming up on that day. Charlie Vasquez's Mindful Memoir and Meditation workshop, an Arts and Crafts workshop, and at 3 p.m. a spooky flash fiction Halloween themed writing workshop. If you're on one of our live streams on your computer or laptop, with your phone, you can scan any of the QR codes to register for free. You can attend 1, 2, or all 3 of them, of the workshops. Or if you are watching the live stream on your phone, or if you are in Zoom, just go to our ticket calendar, and the free registration links are inside the ticket, the event for Sunday, October 26th. Again, those are free, just like the Teenage Open Mic on Sunday. And talking about free, Elemental will continue his online open mic every Thursday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Tickets to perform, that one starts 24 hours prior on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. The list for tonight is full, but if you want to perform and you have not yet told either Elemental or me that you would like to perform, let us know in the Zoom chat and we will add you to the good luck round. We will stick around all the way to the end so that everyone who wanted to perform may do so. And also on and as Elemental mentioned, we are also live streaming tonight's program, just like we do every week. You can also rewatch any of the previous recordings on our YouTube channel, Facebook page, or Twitter feed. And there also we have our Beatniks on the Road episodes, which are usually released on the last Tuesday of every month. The most recent one is from last month, September, featuring poets from Salt Lake City. The one from before that is from New Orleans. On our YouTube channel, you can see all of the episodes that we presented this year. And Beatniks on the Road, by the way, is hosted and curated by Tony McPherson, who is our Final Friday Slam host, and he currently also hosts a free poetry slam workshop every second Tuesday of every month. The next one is coming up on November 12th. Those are online. They are done via Zoom. They are free, thanks to grants by the New York State Council on the Arts and Poets and Writers. If you want to sign up, go to our calendar, which is nuyorican.org/calendar. All of the upcoming events are listed there, or go to our link tree at Nuyorican Poets Cafe, where you can get to our website, social media feed, and everything else that you wanted to know about the Nuyorican Poets Cafe, including if for any reason you are not part of the our mailing list yet. If you haven't signed up yet, you can just go to our link tree. I will put that in the Zoom chat so you can sign up and you will never miss an event. But now, I don't want to miss our next performer, who it's actually been a while since I last had the pleasure of introducing him. But Ed, I always enjoy it when you're here, even when I don't introduce you. You know, I look forward to what you bring every week here. You are just the sunshine, the one that we need when we, especially when we feel down. Ed, we love you. I love you, Ed. It's so great to be here, everyone. Ed Poetastic, aka Eddie Foreman, is back. Ed, you know how it goes. Let everyone know where we may follow you. The next 3 minutes are all yours.
Thank you, my like no other. Ron, I'm happy to see you. I'm glad you're every color but blue. Thank you so much. And remember that we love you, Elemental too. Thank you so much. All right, my name is Ed Potato for the Fantastic. Please time to join my rhyme file for Sublime. I got 2 pieces, so I won't take too much time. This first piece is called The Meaning of Poetry. The meaning of poetry is the air we breathe, the food we eat, is the blood hiding beneath, is the music to the beat. Poetry means more than that. It's beyond science and facts. It builds instant connections and it gives verbal satisfaction. It's the meeting of the minds to keep our hearts aligned. It educates us all to stand true and tall. It's food for the soul that's more precious than gold. It's a page that keeps on giving, or the essence keeps on transcending. Poetry can get you out of your shell. It's a spell if you can't tell. Poetry is really hard to explain as the blood passes through your veins. To me, poetry is everything in one. It's the pale moon and the shining sun. Thank you. And this other one is called I Have a Dream. I have a dream we can love each other. I have a dream we can respect each other. I have a dream we can understand each other. I have a dream we can support each other. I have a dream we can educate each other. I have a dream we could cherish each other. I have a dream we can guide each other. I have a dream we could hold each other. I have a dream we can empower each other. I have a dream we can shelter each other. I have a dream we can feed each other. I have a dream we can protect each other. I have a dream we can strengthen each other. I have a dream we can nurture each other. I have a dream we can radiate with each other. I have a dream we can lift up each other. I have a dream we can celebrate each other. I have a dream we can prosper with each other. I have a dream we can free each other. I have a dream we can live in harmony with each other. I have a dream. I have a dream. I have a dream. Thank you.
Come on, Eddie Luther King in here with your I Have a Dream speech. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Eddie Foreman.
I like your dream, Eddie.
Yeah, Eddie. Yeah.
It's wonderful.
I have a dream we can free each other. And you
Yes.
just did that right here, Eddie. Thank you so much. That was one of the best list poems I've heard in a very, very long
list
time.
poem.
Thank
Mhm.
you. Thank you so much.
But it's very romantic. It's very tender and romantic and hopeful, as is MLK's work. So I mean, it worked. And yeah, it lifted me up.
See,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's
that's
been a
that's
blast.
where it's at. I love that. I love that word that you use, Elizabeth. And we will hear from Elizabeth Horan in the good luck round. But I love that word that you use, tender, right? That just automatically makes it, or that feeling of a softness, right? And I appreciate that about you, Eddie. Which is why I love how your work has evolved, right? But you have still maintained that softness in your work. In the first piece, he said the music to the beat, right? In essence, that keeps us transcending. Poetry is everything in one. Like, again, another book title, in my opinion. I have a dream. Come on, man. Like, I don't know where that came from, Eddie, but that was pretty phenomenal, sir. We can cherish each other, we can shelter each other, we can free each other, we can understand each other. That is the work, sir. And I appreciate you so much for putting it in and maintaining with us and continuing to be a pillar of our community, sir. Appreciate you. Truly. Signature smile. Always appreciate you. Folks, I know I haven't done this in a while, but I think it's necessary. Please unmute yourself. Give it up for Ron Mark Thompson.
Yes, baby. Yeah. RMT.
Love you, man.
Ron's the man.
The one and
RMT.
only. Making it all happen.
Never stop dreaming.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
you, Ron.
I'm so glad you're all here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Plus, your accent is sexy.
Oh, tell them about it. Tell them about it.
Oh.
Listen. I know that, you know what? Ron does a lot, right? Ron does a lot for what we do and who we are as an online open mic. Shout out to BX. Ron is all the way up in the Bronx, holding it down for us, man. And I just appreciate all that you do for us, Ron. We really we wouldn't be cooking the way that we do without you. So I appreciate you, Ron. And we need to make sure that Ron gets his flowers too. So appreciate you, sir. All right. Coming up next, listen, the storytellers are in the building. And this gentleman, author of Mirror, Mirror, and For Finn, with Finn, this incredible gentleman I like to call the Vincent Price of poetry, the one and only Ike Waltz is in the building, y'all. Let these folks know where they can find you, Ike. It is always great to see you, sir. Please take it away.
Good evening. May I share the screen, please?
You got it, Ike. Take it away.
This is a painting by Sheila My dearling, I'm not on theme, or am I? This is a dark one for me. Zeit heilt nicht. Time does not heal. You may forgive. You may never forget. You may be forgiven, but you may never be forgotten. Let me be quite clear. You may forgive Germany, but history never forgets what a Germany had done. I was born blonde, blue-eyed, 1939. I was to become a soldier of a glorious army. I was to be sent to Sonthofen's factory of officers to be trained a loyal valet for a ruthless man. I found this out 15 years later. I was born blonde, blue-eyed, 1939. All I saw were black boots marching by. Love, compassion, empathy, tenderness. Such foreign words I never learned, I never felt. I was blonde, blue-eyed, brainwashed, a toddler man. I learned to remember the sound of glorious marches when black boots were marching by. Yes, I did. Let us remember the vicious horse whistle song. Traram, 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 ram, ram. Die Fahne hoch, die Reihen fest geschlossen, die Sturmabteilung marschiert mit ruhig, festem Schritt. Meaning, the flag is high, our ranks are closed, stormtroopers march with silent, solid steps. This was the ultimate Nazi all-German sing-along. I sang it too as a toddler man, replacing love with that ultimate loyal to a new godless German god. And once it was all over, Germany had lost identity, turning a defeated nation into innocent bystanders, all of them asking me, what would you have done? And as for me, 85 years later, what time had stolen did not heal. And then, I was listening to the TV today, like every morning. You see, I have my coffee in bed. And there she was, a blonde, blue-eyed, 21-year American sexy beauty, posing in an Arizona town, queuing to vote for Trump, she said. But why Trump, she was asked. And Blondie responded with such an angelic smile. Well, Trump asked me to vote for him. Well, and asked me to vote for him. Her lovely legs whisked her innocence away. Let me be quite clear. You may forgive America one day, but the world never forgets Trump's America. Our innocence now washed away, the once MAGA exposed, will turn into these innocent bystanders of a new generation. I've seen it all before. You may forgive MAGA one day, but history never forgets America, the land which was once so brave and free. 85 years later, and time does not heal.
Keep telling y'all, right? We could talk about sparkles and rainbows, but when it comes to putting in the work, that's how it's done. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Ike. Whoa!
Thank you, Ike.
Like about
Thank you,
radical
man.
honesty and just
Oh, God.
being willing to bare your soul like that for us, because that's
Thank you.
you're doing it as a teaching lesson, not just for your own soul. We appreciate it so much.
And who else to teach us that these things transcend boundaries? It's not just Germany, it's Arizona, it's the US.
Yeah.
Wonderful working there, Ike. Wonderful. Fabulous. Fabulous. Thank you for the lesson.
As inexplicable as it is, the way you presented it makes it somewhat understandable, even though, I don't understand it, but somehow the way you presented it, it's just out there. It is hard to wrap your head around, but thank you for those words. It was really, really meaningful.
Yeah,
I
just said that
history does not forget. I just love the way you point out that history does not forget. We need to remember that.
Yeah, I just wanted to, say thanks for how you, as like Oshunyoyin is saying, you have this ability to transcend all those decades with this lesson that really hasn't changed. It's just that people have not been in that class, and now they have so rudely found themselves there.
Yeah. And this is what happens when we don't teach history.
Yeah,
exactly.
As the doctor said way back at the beginning of the show, and Doug said too. Yeah,
it is that way, right? But see that in my opinion, that is a problem, right? When we teach history and not our story, things get lost, right? The truth gets lost, right? We forget about significant times that were lost in time. 65 years, good ship Jesus. So many things that happen, right? They get kind of swept under the rug. But I love the fact that what you do and the way that you do it, you bring people in comfortably and then make them so uncomfortable. Like I really, really appreciate you about that, right? This is why I call him the Vincent Price of poetry, right? Because he does exactly that, right? You hear his voice, you're just like, I want to hear what he says. And then he starts talking about things crawling into your ear and into your brain, right? You're like, oh no, I don't do that. Stormtroopers march with solid, silent steps. Come on, man. My father used to talk about stormtroopers. What time had stolen did not heal. She said Trump asked me to vote for him. That's just not okay, Ike. And then the way that you deliver it is just even worse. Innocent bystanders of this new generation. The world never forgets Trump's America. I don't doubt that at all. For real. Thank you, Ike, for doing what you do. Make sure you plug in with Ike Waltz. He's kind of incredible at what he does. Truly. Thank you. Coming up next, prepare yourself for an experience. Peace to the gods and the earth for their knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. This next gentleman does lots of things, continues to come through in lots of ways to enlighten us. Probably got a few instruments on the list this evening, but he did not come here to tap dance. The one and only Baba N. Gomez in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you. It is always great to see you, God. Please take it away.
What's up, y'all? Y'all can find me here on Thursday night. Otherwise, Ngoma Hill, Ngoma, last name Hill on Facebook. Yeah. Amiri Baraka used to write these poems. He used to call them lokus instead of haikus. Here's one. If Elvis was king, who was James Brown? God. empty mockery. Teeter-totters on the precipice of our discontent. Put through the microscope of integrity, coming up deficient of honesty. As the college elects to misrepresent those crying out for proof that the so-called Constitution is constitutional. Not just archaic babble left over from centuries past, guarded by laughing gargoyles on the steps of justice. Apathy is the aching tooth of Dracula. Fangs dripping Middle Eastern oil as Fat Sam needs a colonic. 500 years of lies backed up in his constitution. Constituents tired of being pregnant with hope seek out abortions, feeling voting has no purpose in this hypocrisy. Where the two-headed coin has two bad sides and any way it falls, oppression rules. Martial law hiding in the shadows, waiting for the eagle to fall. Conspiracy theories ignored while those who disorder the new world wait for its deliverance to the gates of hell. Things fall apart. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. It's more than a nursery rhyme. I thought it was a dream until waking up to the reality that things are falling apart. It seems there's an alternative universe as America implodes on itself. Excuse me, but I told you so seems appropriate as predictions shift into reality. There are 25,000 troops camped on the White House lawn. But how do we know if they're all on the same page? Or if it's true that militias, cops, and Klan go hand in hand? After all, somebody knew there's a maze underneath the Capitol. It was known that the MAGAs were coming, but no one was called for help. So I'd say there's something rotten and this ain't Denmark. Could this be karma? Or is this the newest banana republic? Is this the beginning of a civil war? Or will the earth open up and swallow the Philistines that came to hang the Congress? After all, this all started with Lincoln, so it won't go away with impeachment. The termites are out of the woodwork, and Jim Crow is in style again.
That instrument is just so amazing for real. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Baba Ngoma.
Baba, amazing, unbelievable, wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah, talk about a history lesson that shows how history is attacking this very second we're breathing.
Yep.
Yes.
Love the combination of the musical instruments that you use. You're just brilliant with it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
History is what we're going to make it.
There you go. So let's change it.
Or let's change it. Listen, what Professor Platinum said in here, right? The Yadaki shakes the soul. No doubt about it, right? It just does. There's something about it, right? I can't even understand the breath control that it takes to play an instrument like that, let alone how you can generate different sounds out of it, right? And you have multiple Yadaki just within arm's reach. That's ridiculous. I did want to shout out Baba for and the priestess that we're going to get to next too, for putting me in the space and for representing these cats, the last poets, on this day, for doing all the things that they continue to do. Also, shout out Felicia Cade and the Langston Hughes House for continuing to keep the essence and soul of Black poetry alive. Thank you so much, Baba. What you do, man, it's crazy that you can play those instruments and then come up with something like apathy is the aching tooth of Dracula. Right? Those who disorder the new world wait for its deliverance to the gates of hell. Right? Like, come on. And things fall apart. Malicious cops and clans go hand in hand. Like, started with Lincoln, so it won't go away with impeachment. And listen, if you don't know, folks, this next one is an absolute fact. Jim Crow is in style again. That was a quote. Baba said that. I'm just saying. But it's a damn absolute fact. If you don't know, do your history. And listen, if Elvis is king, who's James Brown? God. That was just fire. Appreciate you, God, for doing what you do. And sharing it with us. Thank you. Coming up next, listen, every time the priestess comes through with those shades on, I got to mention it. You better believe it, because she got the love just sprouting all out of the brain and into the frames. Listen, I appreciate all of the divine energy that you bring and share with us. The one and only Oshunyo Yen is in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you. It is always great to see you, priestess. Please take it away.
Okay, here I go again. You can find me on the other side of midnight, invoking compassion, love, and understanding the next time the sun rises, because we're living in a crazy ass world right now. I hope my parakeets don't disturb you. If I need to be louder, just let me know. I'm gonna do two pieces, and the first one I have done before, and I'm doing it again just because it fits the theme, and the theme's kind of important to me. So, this is an assignment given to us by Abiodun of the Last Poets. And everybody had the first line, okay? I am the last poet in a group of last poets. Join me intentionally in eternity. Our mission came directly from the ancestral world. Our blood makes us all family. That song in our blood is our anthem that we were born singing. The drums beat the pulse of our hearts and empower our eternal connection. The drum invokes sun in our souls. We bow to the Ancient One's command. We are here to open your eyes, all three of them. Our words soar on the freedom of the winds. The last poets speak in many tongues. We speak in the tongue of justice. We speak in the tongue of liberation. We speak in the tongue of social change. We proudly speak in the tongue of our ancestors' wisdom. We speak in African essence in every dialect, in every poem. We speak in food for the soul. We also speak in eulogy. We agreed not to let the sacrifice of those came before us to save their people go unrecognized. The word is our mission. Delivering the sacred messages through the word, our destiny. Our words will make you listen. I am the last poet from a group of last poets. Join us intentionally in eternity. Okay, my second piece kind of speaks about eternity too, and it's called How Else? Only the body dies. The spirit of creation is eternal. How else do we get to hear Coltrane saxophone blowing through Fela's horn? Feel Billie Holiday in Erykah Badu's Periwinkle delivery. Be reminded of Congo lamentations of enslaved African work songs in the rich ultramarine waterfall of Down Home blues. The body lays down its bag of bones, but the spirit goes wandering to find a new home. How else is it possible that African carvings are reborn on the canvas of Ayaba Mandingo's artwork? How else is it that Hoppin' John tastes the same in Pinewood, South Carolina, as it does in Ibadan, Nigeria? How else does it happen that the urgent scribblings of an African American poet sound the same as the griots jelly in a kiwi of West Africa when they've never stepped foot there? The fragile house of the soul decomposes, returning the elements of its animation back to its source. Takes another journey into infinity to reunite with stardust sympathies, gathering new and greater power as it travels. Yet the essence of being always finds another pair of hands to work its magic, another set of eyes to continue the vision, two more legs to dance on the ether of joy, another mouth to sing its song. The spirit of creation is eternal. Ashe.
Hey, unmute yourself. Give it up for Oshun. Yo,
Oh man, we
yeah.
are just getting so much wisdom one after the other. Just that was awesome.
Really
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know, it's I just can't say enough for you know, these individuals, Ngoma, Oshun, Lantern. You've become a real driving force in the Nuyorican Poets Cafe. And I think the founders would really be paying tribute to what you do here.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
No,
Thank you.
I couldn't be more thankful, right, to be a part of something like this, right? Because this is the same thing, folks. And listen, I'm not a spring chicken, but I believe from my history and my research, this is the same thing that was going on in 1974 and 1964. As I mentioned, Jupiter Hammond, his first poem was published in 1761. We've been doing this for quite a while, right? Poetry has been around since well before that, right? 15th century, right? So here we are still doing what we're doing in the best of ways, right? Speaking life with these words, right? The word is our mission, the priestess said, right? We are here to open your eyes, all three of them, right? I am the last poet amongst a group of last poets. I felt that. I felt that. I might take that. For real. I might take that one. For real. I feel that one. For real. For real. I feel that one. The word is our mission, right? And how else? Listen, and I'm a fan of both of these women, and both of their music has moved me in incredible ways. She said, "Feel Billie Holiday in Badu's Periwinkle delivery." Come on, man. Come on, man. Like, did you feel all of that stardust? That was reunite with stardust sympathies, right? Another set of eyes to continue the journey. Thank you. Thank you so much for what you do, Oshun Yen, for staying dedicated to it. Truly, truly appreciate you. All right. Coming up next, we heard this cat, and we have heard this gentleman all evening. The Jedi Master is in the building. I am thankful for this cat and all that he does. And listen, I'm even going to take a step to make sure that I put this in your face, because this gentleman is all kinds of incredible, whether he's ripping a poem, whether he's reading one of his incredible essays, or you're listening to him get down with some music. This cat's all the way incredible. The one and only Paul Skiff is in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you. It is always great to see you, sir. Please take it away.
Oh, it's just, just always a delight to be here and more. So I give thanks. I'm still standing up or sitting down right now and able to be here with you all. Just another incredible edition of this evening. What was I going to do? I just wanted to offer a quote. I know we've heard Gwendolyn Brooks here. This is just a quote from Audre Lorde, who's another one of the people I look to all the time to be instructive and get keyed in. She said, "What are the words you do not yet have? What do you need to say? What are the tyrannies you swallow day by day and attempt to make your own until you will sicken and die of them, still in silence?" And I'm kind of torn about what to read. I kind of wanted to read this poem by one of the founders of the cafe, Lois Griffith, but I'm just going to do this poem by little old me. This is a poem from the 1980s. It's a little longer than 3 minutes, and it has a title, "See You There." Sunken hum wrapped by flight throat garden, dirt tracked into the bed small, fire pushed forth by inadequate lips overlooked for labyrinth that untangles itself, light seed steals, mouths, wetness from within, air, coolness into body signaled by hauling forgotten drift sparse under language upon black white beneathness only, replicate sun and inexact water momently persuade, fire taught escape by dream, teeth cracked in vision, such generosity flaw, the inability of non-guidance of happening hardly at all, vacant, hive dream between the world and no one, haughty and slight, reversed, inaudible wand of sway grace that tosses off lips, loaves of ample mischief, thinly bitter or when smudged with warm earthen color embody the foretold brought out of absent light on half-known river invoked by slope of dance syncopated with beat song eyes, the sad march, onyx mirror and cold pool of respondent cheer that enter or leave impurity with untransportable proportions of pride, floated by waste fluid and paired as though sash of water poured forever between breasts and hips, woman of straw, woman shaped from a high note, formed from rumor of coolness, hinted by desert sparse whisper, who is departure with no goodbye, who Should her whole people be enslaved, would escape like the stars escape, or grow as the grass that does after a fire, a woman with name that sifted down from the north behind people who were pilgrims to the black stone of heaven, a woman who marked aloofness with the hoe of motherhood. This woman, by her sibylline voice, licked into my ear the words, "You were in my dream last night." Then she pushed a bone of her elbow down against my ribs like Africa had drifted up against the Chesapeake. Did I paw and scoop similarity from the dry riverbed of your stratified dream, sink in vernacular heritage, lightheaded from the thin eye air transporting vocalization of your dream, disappear engulfed and wasted, seeking reconcile on savannas of your dream, build the compound of blood monuments upon martyr veldt of your dream, dwindle to dignity tremor of liberty shimmers over the great karoo of your dream, stripped of heat under the chill night, your dream where man is an 8-hour bellyache full of piss, vomit, shit, and cum. Do I? Gun down protesting children in townships of your dream, distribute charity inefficiently to hunger, and 400-year drought of your dream supply weapons to nominal conflict and strife of your dream, direct traffic of human bodies, spoliation of your dream becomes socialized with more advantage and segregations of your dream, where man toils with instruments of compromise as a wageless laborer, as a dream. I am the act of convincing one's self to leave, ground out by displeasure, an incident of kindness shaped by your question, the ability to see brought home with a light bulb, week of soreness given by the fall, forgotten chore within music, similarity missing from the face of aggression as a dream. I am immune from happening and discontinuous in your unfinished day, the released shutter choice of senses having vivified their own advice, coiled within reeds and switches of your slenderness, a destination proliferated by non-satisfaction in your dream, where I am purpose lame from drinking half feelings, I bluff you and climb paralytic into impulsive love for your struggle to contradict a commerce of flesh, blind to total humanity, thrown from speech of possessionless wanderers. Why does not your dream rise ample with oil, iron, and artesian waters, still terra incognita? Why does not your dream's mouth sizzle with Malagueta, rescue the Cape of Good Hope from the bottom of the world by rejoicing that women of Sandogo no longer divine song, praise, and insults on the key of Lisbon, Carabar, or Liverpool? Rum, tobacco, and sugar have lost the severity of their triangle, the flow of Bilad es Sudan, by your lips so easily protected from ridicule. Let them put out a taunt of skip rope wisdom as Orun Mila. Have your voice be the rock, singing unity pounded by Jeongu Suru, Carry the moon of blood and chicken feathers safely under the prediction of Din Logun. Polish your mask to float on Oshun's undertow. Fire your kiln with mean tricks. Cover the memory of man robbing with millet gruel, dried blood, and ashes. Have your dream retain rain clouds to nurture abundance and shadow of a Yona cross spin out the cloth of earth to dispense healing. Dream humanity leaving the hands of depredation rich with horns, quills, and bird skulls. Shake the circumcision rattle with your dream, a dream of collective fishing, moving in curved orbit while throwing spangled cowries and invoking calamity, woman who weaves the world out of herself to disappear under cloth of somber colors and return to the stool of plenty, there to be admired for a long time, and where dreams transcend total history, time's merciless transformation still echoes. And always, but always, and always, but always, there is this. At the New Exchange, corner of St. Louis and Chartres Streets on Saturday, May 16th, 12 o'clock, number 1, Sarah, a mulatress, age 45, a good cook and accustomed to housework in general, has an excellent and faithful nurse for sick persons, and in every respect a first-rate character. Number 2, Fanny, her daughter, a mulatress, age 16, speaks French and English, is a superior hairdresser, good seamstress, and lady's maid, is smart, intelligent, and a first-rate character. All the above-named slaves are acclimatized and excellent subjects and will therefore be severally warranted against all vices and maladies prescribed by law. Terms: 1/2 cash and the other half notes at 6 months, drawn and endorsed to the satisfaction of the vendor, with special mortgage on the slaves until final payment. Are you convinced it was not Stagger Lee in your dream? Or could the nocturnal provocation have been El Shabazz, your slumber's vision held in mind, a liberator setting off your self-respect and a dignified awakened humanity, even as your dream? That means when the revolution prophet was executed, it was in your slumbering liberation dream that conspired the improbability of this, our future. No chat, gossip, or bitching, snaps or lilts to open slow self-pour from the eye's shoreless carbency. I cannot shove light off myself there while slipped from the quiet portions of still breath, fact held, generations of men made visible on the front or erased on the back of a newspaper, empty of name, person shorn by the two postures of a lock, lined on a single rail of control, where wanting of less than life is practiced with as much hopelessness as a plantation where man is given to the street until criminality happens. Generations of men deracinated by quotas of EOE at the corporate plantation where it is bourgeoified, who was shot in a dance hall, and Marcus Garvey is just a park. Only perhaps the cardboard box where sleeps the homeless teenager of my dreams, so it is sheltered, only could have been I, hand that paints over racist billboards in a dream, so it is clear, a guess, myself, the overtime that fills a shortfall in dreams, so it will be paid off, hope fixed, I, the line chant and the protest of a dream so it may press forward. Wished, I, the note set off reverberant on the steel drum of a dream so it will insistently rise, unanticipated. I, the child who comes up and survives for a dream. Only I have gladness there was this dream you had undescribed, unsolved, mirrorless, our separation left in the ignorance that gets small with our coming together here. A dream that foresaw two smiles, mine and yours, given from our shared opposition to this brokenness of the inherited pasts still lingering in our hearts, even if you have, just for today maybe, stopped talking to me.
This dude is on a different level of genius. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Paul.
Oh, God.
Different
Whoa,
level.
shit.
A different level. I mean, that's something.
My brain hurts.
You know, you could write an 800-page book and take every line he said and put it on a page and turn it, and you'd hear it all.
We need more than 800 pages.
I'm saying it's in waves. The intelligence, when I listen to Paul's work, and I love it more than you could imagine. It's to digest it. You almost have to hear the tide come and go almost after every thought, and just it's not about knowing. I think it's a ride, and when you do that, it's I'm going to say digestible more so to an ear that can't handle that level of quality and concentration of information and beauty. It's a beautiful thing.
I was gonna say, like, it's I mean, I love sitting here and listening, and I try to absorb it and I try to process as quickly as it's going. But I mean, I feel like your work is really one that I want to like see in front of me on paper as I listen to you read, just because I would get and then be able to read it again after. Do you know? So like, because it's epic. It's like an epic ode to whatever ode it is, but it's like it's hard to not I want to see that visual. I would like I'm just saying, because there's so much there.
Listen.
It's like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
It's really like a roller coaster, and you got to hold on or
Yeah,
catch on.
gotta hold on and pay attention. Yeah.
Very good. You would never. I mean, when I started writing, people used to always say, your stuff is too metaphysical, is too deep, is too complex, and I wouldn't compromise it. So I took my very first book and I split it into two, and I made one of the poems that I think people wanted, so-called accessible or whatever it is, and the other one I would not compromise at all the metaphysical essence that was within it. It's like you write something, and then my favorite early work reminds me of where he stays with his writing, and that is uncompromised. It's uncompromised.
Right.
You're asking the reader to come to it. You're going to bring it to the reader, but you're not going to read it for them. They have to they have to meet it halfway. You're asking them to you did all that work. And why should you just entertain them? Now tell me what
look how we all stayed.
Fuck that.
Look how we all just
Listen. We have to be that way, right? If you are fearless enough to put your work out there to allow yourself to be critiqued by anyone or whoever it is, then you should put your pen down, right? Seriously, just be done with it, right? Because what we're saying is so controversial at times that it's going to invoke a certain emotion out of someone somewhere. And if you aren't prepared for that, then you should probably try tap dancing, which is why Baba said he didn't come here to tap dance. You know what I'm saying? For real. Like it's just work. But you know what? The beauty of what you just did, Jedi Master, is you invoked such an emotion amongst your colleagues that we're like, yo, I mean, you know, you're bringing up these memories and these ideas of how we can, as you said, transcend total history, right? Like this is what we're here to do, right? Hopefully, fighting off a world or a multiverse where Marcus Garvey is only a part. The hell, right? Like, come on, man. What you do, sir, it really is. It really is. I really can't thank you enough for it. You're one of the cats that's been rocking with us from the very beginning. I really can't thank you for your dedication, for your honesty, and for the fervency that you continue to add to your work. Thank you, sir, for doing what you do. All right, let's keep it going. Coming up next, our resident piano man is in the building. You just heard his voice. This cat, anytime he's sitting in front of the ebony and ivory, it's guaranteed to be something spectacular, man. The one and only CCR Chagra is in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you, CC. Always great to see you. Come on, man. Take it away.
Well, I love you all, miss you all. Facebook took a dive, it took a hit, it took a hack. It's gone. I don't know if it'll ever come back. So I love you. 3,000, got to find me again. And I knew a lot of you there. I really loved it. Back your shit up. You know what's gonna happen. IG is C period our Chagra, CCR Chagra, and I guess you can go there and build that up if you lost track and message me and all that there. And this is last week I did a piece because a friend of mine up and died on us called "Let Me Send You My Song," and his wife is a dear sacred friend of mine, Anne Marie. And when she retired from running an art organization, the state actually gave her a day, or the city she's in. So Middletown now has a Anne Marie Kanata McEwen Day. So Mike McEwen is the one that up and left us. And so I'm going to do the one that I wrote on the day that she was named, that they named after her for that town. The town gave her a day called Calm Down. Some of you might have heard this from a way back. Here and now is when I observe my own mind. Here and now, that's where I observe my own mind. Here and now is when and where and how and why I observe my own mind. And I calm down. I calm down. I calm down. I calm down. I care for the sight of love is blind. My heart takes a rest and I sigh. And Shakespeare is the name of my dog. And I'm grateful. I feel home here and now. Even when I'm not seen, even when I'm not heard, even when I am as I share my load with my peace of mind. As I catch my wild thoughts with a choice to calm them down. As the wars all around me survive just to die, still I'm grateful. I feel home here and now. Here and now is when and where I observe my own mind. Here and now is when and where I observe my own. Here and now is when and where and when and how and why I observe my own mind. And I calm down. I calm down. I calm down. I calm down. And everything true hits a wall. And everything large discovers it's small. And everything out there is really only within. And here comes fear's reasons to never trust love again. That's here and now. That's when and where I observe my own mind. That's here and now, when and where and how and why I observe my own mind. And I calm down. I calm down. I calm down. I calm down. That's for you, Anne-Marie. Happy Anne-Marie Day, which is May 21st.
Always the performer. Unmute yourself. Give it up for CCR Shadra.
I love that, man.
Yeah, ditto.
Cover it. That's soon to be covered by the one and only. Can't wait to hear your version.
I had such a pleasure sigh at the end of that poem. It was a real balm.
You know, it kind of fit after, you laid it on everybody on the back of their mind and just scribed it in there. They can't unhear it. Now take a rest, because it's all in there now. Too late. You can't get Paul's poem out of you. You might as well just put it to bed.
And Shakespeare is the name of my dog.
Actually true. Shakespeare was born on Shakespeare's birthday, and I wanted to name it Patience, which would have been a joke because it's Kathleen's dog, and Patience would have been like, "Come here, Patience," and I would have got slapped around the house for that. So anyway, I came up with the name Sai, and then no one's gonna like the name Sai, so we did a vote. And then the dog was born on Shakespeare's birthday, so Shakespeare Sai is the dog's actual name on paper.
Hey.
So Shakespeare.
Listen, hold on. Listen. You can't go wrong with that. Anytime Shakespeare shows up, you know it's going to be some creative shenanigans happening, right? I love how things align themselves for what you're actually thinking, right? When things are for you, they just show up the way they're supposed to, right? Every time I hear you, CC, the depth gets deeper, right? The tones get richer in your voice. The confidence in your playing goes to a new level each and every time I hear you. Only thing I implore you to do is continue to do just that, sir. Continue to do just that. No matter what your muse, continue to do just that, because it's pretty incredible. I truly appreciate you, sir. Truly. Let me shout out a couple of people before we get going. I saw the daughter of Krypton was in the building. We're gonna get to a cat and a couple cats. But I want to shout out Heal the Hood. I want to shout out Apollo 517 and give a dope ass poet for all the folks in the building. Appreciate y'all for everyone watching on YouTube and Facebook. Truly, truly appreciate y'all for plugging in. Coming up next, the impromptu of love of music. This incredible cat comes through. And again, I know I said it earlier, but this cat is actually an eloquent writer. The one and only Ray Whitaker in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you. It's always great to see you, sir. Please take it away.
Well, it's really great to be here tonight, and I'm really appreciative of all the work I've heard so far. It's just such a amazing set of voices tonight and instruments. Lovely, just lovely. I'm very happy to be a part of it. I have two pieces for you tonight, and one of them's called Racism. When I was in my 30s, the continued affronts from society about color got in my face again and again. Inside, I could not allow the whole thing. It didn't lodge as correct or remotely even-handed, and the enormity of the racial mess intimidated. In backing away, I did not know that not knowing that to do nothing is very similar, almost indistinguishable to supporting the injustices. Transitioning to a public occupation with public involvement with our multiracial Americans, working on, intent to make a difference in the healthcare domain, and working with brilliant therapists. Backgrounds of African, Eurasian, Caucasian, all educated and willing to face the infections of the sick that needed us. Each therapist having their own impetus, motivated to enhance health, making life return before an impending death. The goals realized moved into aliveness. We all were a team of black and white and brown and tan and colorblind to what that might otherwise mean. All the while, outside the hospital, the grim usual went on worldwide. The "you don't look like me" blinding. Those with perfectly good eyes apparently had something wrong with the muscle between their ears. They might have been black or brown or tan or even have different eyes, and I was white and colorblind. Thank you. And this next one's a little more confrontive. It's called Another One Again. Now we have a little quote here at the beginning. Endless days of summer, images of sorrow, things that go to make up a life. This is from Genesis, from Second Home by the Sea, and a long time ago. The beat on the street was on them. As the coroner's office trucks loaded up the dead from the mass shooting, there were red residues on the street, sidewalks, and wall splatters, all sprinkled with shiny brass from spent rifle cartridges. The dead lay in their desperate quiet. Those loaded were no longer in their desperations. This left for the many still alive, shaking their heads through their tears. Even so, another strength arose. The 13 assaulted casualties at the Buffalo, New York grocery store, 10 of which are forever gone. Their only crime was looking at the heads of cauliflower. Those white blossoms included the angers, black against white, white against black, and of the resignation tainted with the spice of determination and the many delayed orange lusts for revenge. The coroner's investigator and his assistant, driving their bus away from these latest murders, white-knuckled on the steering wheel, not speaking to each other in the cab, lost in the thoughts, knowing their bus was one of several pulling away, loaded with body bags. That had a lot to say. That had a lot to say. And those in back no longer have a story to tell. Oh, why are things this way? Thinking that he had no crystal ball towards the connotations of a possible future, of the wheretofores of men and women, he so knew what he'd seen out there, all of that in awkward juxtaposition to what he had inside going around his head, meaning the swirl of colors, grays, blues, the obnoxious reds and oranges that seemed to be the themes of America. There's a walkover to an observation, in your face really, that one of several that get in line behind each other, some that with that squinted eye judgment, that prejudiced assessment of pervasive inadequacy, this dishonest reality, despicableness of racism found on the walk into giving humanity towards the chance of being human. That's the space we're talking about here, the investigator erupted to the assistant, who was still wiping off the blood, the distaste written all over his face. What of the persistent gross injustices? What of the disdain? What of those terrible affronts? What of the pain? All our skin colors suffer with these. Where to take the grief? There with the burials and tears. Where is the legal system? Away from the burials and tears. Where? There with the burials and tears. Where is the vengeance? Away from the burials and tears. Frank Zappa said it best. Who you jiving with that cosmic debris? So many preparations subjecting all of us to the whims and fancies of a whole gooey slurry that the entire range of emotions we humans have, including those complacent in their disdain, living there in their potholes of resignation, some saying, like Frank did, don't waste your time on me. Thank you.
Telling you, when people really start putting in the work with the pen, you can tell. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Ray Whitaker.
Were you jiving with that cosmic debris?
When's the last time you heard that one, huh?
Oh, it hadn't been long.
A couple minutes ago. And a couple things I wanted to
big Frank fan.
Just a couple things. In about the middle of that poem, you just said this one line, oh, why are things this way? And out of context, that doesn't come off as the most poetic line, but you used this tone of voice that was so universal. Everybody has said that inside themselves in that same inner tone of voice. And it really pointed up to me again, the power of the spoken word to convey a poetry far beyond, sorry for you on the page aficionados, the poetry far beyond what could have been done just reading it off the page. The other thing that's really basic to this piece I really was struck by, and you were very explicit about it, is these emotions that are everybody's consequences to all of these circumstances. And that's what nobody wants to affirm. No, people run from that, even though that's the biggest outcome of all of these circumstances, is how people are impacted emotionally by these things. And I really give it to you for setting up that dichotomy so explicitly in this poem.
Thank you. I just have to write something about these mass shootings, and the one in Buffalo, New York. I guess that was the one that came to mind to be presenced. There's so much carnage in our country because the gun lobbies. I don't want to get started on that, but I'm going to tell you that we as poets have a duty to presence these things and speak it so that people hear it. That's the way I.
They just need to fix the windows. They need to make better locks on those school windows. That'll do it.
That'll do it.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, that's why there are none.
Arm the children. Arm the children.
That's right. Yeah.
That's why there are none. Okay, I can tell you from experience, there are no windows. Okay, where the children are, there are no windows. It's over. Maybe at different levels, but from my experience, long gone are the days of children looking out of the windows and daydreaming outside. That's over, right? The cowards have replaced all that with terror and fear and drills. So I appreciate what you do, Ray, because you really do touch on some very, very difficult subjects, but kind of like Ike, right? The way that you deliver your work, it's like, okay, I'm receiving something, it's nice and warm, but then it burns you. It burns you the way that it's supposed to, right? Because as you said, as poets, it is our charge to take the worst of the worst and make it somewhat palatable, but it's supposed to burn. I appreciate you, sir, for doing what you do, really, and continuing to share it with us. Appreciate you. Coming up next, listen, this cat has come through and made his presence felt, continues to come through and work on building community, right? President of the Wisconsin chapter, Racine chapter of the Incredible Poet. This cat is about to come and do something to you, man. Trust and believe. The one and only inspiration is in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you. Great to see you as always, man. Come on, take it away.
You as well, brother. You as well. And everyone's doing a splendid, fantastic job tonight. I've been in and out, with my ears, doing different stuff, in the house here. But the stuff I'm catching and then catching up on in the chat, beautiful. You can find me on Facebook under Craig Larson with an O-N, Larson. IG, you can find me on Inspiration 1899 with a dot after the N, 1899 at the end. YouTube, you can find me under Inspiration 1978 with a dash between the I and the N. And of course, you can find me here on Thursdays. You can find me in person, Wordsmith Wednesdays. You can call into the show. Just follow me on one of the platforms and you'll get all the information you need. I've been back and forth all night trying to figure out what piece I'm going to do, and I have something that's kind of close to the subject you know, for the theme tonight, but these three pieces, they're short, but they're kind of calling out to me and want to be spoken to into the atmosphere. So hope you enjoy them. First one's Walls of Mine. Second is I Know At Least I'm Trying. And then the third and last would be Goonie 1946 Inspiration. Trapped inside these walls, and I'm the one that built them. I'm lost inside these walls, like the keys I misplaced after I placed them on the same table where I normally place them. No, I'm screaming inside these walls, and I'm the only one that heard them. No ceiling attached to these walls. I swear there's people outside of these walls. I know I heard them. I forgot my tools outside of these walls, and I put no windows or no doors in. I'm playing bloody knuckles. Oh, Lord, I built these walls good. I know there's people outside of these walls. They just want me trapped in. They're scared of the knowledge that I'm giving, the game that I'm teaching, the people that I'm reaching. 14 years of age, and I'm motivating my daughter to put her all in. Speaking to her mind through mind, digging in mine like a mine, speaking into these walls like a mine, manifesting her dreams like they're mine, guiding her through her nightmares because they're mine. Staring at these walls eye to eye because they're mirroring mine, trying to burn a hole up in these walls like I got laser eyes, tapping into my third eye, trying to remember how to climb with these spidey senses floating inside of my mind. Watch me as I soar above these walls of mine. Ain't no cap on mine. I'm inspiration beyond end time. All right, daughter. My daughter. All right, Mariah Highbug. Unforgettable ways, volumes and tones of how to vent the pains of my life through the deep soul-drenched screams that punch me in my heart and in my mind. Screams that stretch through me, trying to unwind. After releasing all my toxic energy and vibes, trying to breathe in fresh air, now making room for positive thoughts in my mind, along with positive energy and vibes inside, though there's still laughs and voices inside of me. Those aren't very easily located, you see. Are they the unsolved mysteries, the cold cases, and or the secrets that I buried too deep to take to the grave with me? Or is it all the above? Are those voices, are they laughing? Because even through all the venting and all the soul-drenched screams, releasing all life's pains, that they still remain in me? Or is it a happy, fun childhood voice and screams of joy that are starting to break through the silence of my inner tomb, my inner jail cell, my damaged womb, trying to reach my bank of memories so I may remember happier times and entwine those times with the lessons of hardships I now put in these rhymes, only to release positive ways to change lives through the walk that I talk in my rhymes. Today, in this room, in this venue, wherever I am, wherever the mic, wherever I recite, I just want to take time tonight to quote John Taffman. You can blame the past, he said, for a few things, though you can only blame the future on you. So I say that to say this, because your fears are what you allow them to be. You control the birth of your fears and their death. You are the parent. You are the guardian. So it'll be your lack of will to fight that will birth your lack of confidence and strength. So learn how to vent. Learn how to scream. Allow yourself to feel, to breathe, laugh, and cry. Allow yourself to be happy. If you're not, that's on you. So I know one thing, and one thing for sure. I know at least I'm trying. The inspiration is in the eyes of you. It's also in me. I am inspiration. I am a person of extraordinary talent. Last piece. Goonie 1946 Inspiration. No one knows what the future holds. You may be held at the gate. You may be late. Don't plan a date. Just trust your fate. It's been 19 years of dying. No, I'm not lying. Now my spirit's growing, it's flying, evolving. Another word, solving my past problems, my past life, my past wife. A new world I entered, and I'm the center. My soul is the one I told myself to go to hell. So I started to sell my imagination. It's the one that gives my life a great sensation. I live my life a long duration. You tell me how to live my world, you got to deal with my frustration. Nonetheless, you press my button, still wishing to see Now you stress because I ventured so far beyond your side, you see? Do you know where it is? You know where I am? In your world, I stood right before you, yet you never even noticed me. At all so deeply was I lost in your world. Now I'd rather be the sun of my own world that shines bold and bright than be a moon that only glows with someone else's light. So if need be, I'll fight for my heart. I'll fight for my right. My past gave birth to a miscarriage of future inspiration. So my fucks have been all given. That's right. There are no fucks to be given. I am a double OG due to my growth and development from being an original sinner. Yeah, we're all sinners, right? So tonight on this stage, in this world, and on this mic, I'm the center. And all that's instilled in me. So your heart, your mind, and your world might fight to forget me. And the reason being is I simply say the things that you're scared to. Scared to oppose empty worlds that orbit around you. In your eyes, you look out the windows of your soul, thinking I'm too cold-hearted to give a flying fuck. So I give no fucks if you like my poetry or if you hate it. So I do hope at some point, I really do hope you enjoy it. Allow me to be your inspiration. I am inspiration, a person of extraordinary talent. Poet!
Wow.
A person of extraordinary talents, indeed. Unmute yourself. Give it up for inspiration.
It's all the crowd.
Mariah, will you?
Yeah, see, it's all the inspiration. That's the real inspiration.
Mariah, please.
Give them the business. Poet.
Yeah,
Sorry,
don't
Mike.
shush the cheers from the bleachers, eh?
That's what it's all about.
That's my daughter. You got something to say to the universe?
Yeah, we want to hear you.
Come on, daughter.
You ready? Give them the business.
Bring it
You
on.
got something to say
Bring
to
it
the
on,
universe?
bring it on.
Give them the business.
There you go.
You want a voice? You got one here.
Yeah. Welcome to your debut.
Stage
Oh yeah. When you ready to rock, we'll be waiting for you too.
Anytime, you know, we're ready.
Oh, you feel the hook, baby. Feel the hook.
Yeah.
Well, what did you think of the poem?
You was being too loud. I didn't finish my poetry.
You weren't writing. You were writing.
Hey,
what were you writing?
Done with it. When you ready, bring it, and we'll broadcast it.
Yeah, we're ready.
See, this is just it's an indirect way of saying I'm shy. No, I'm not.
You know how I go, man. For real. But listen,
I got something to say. Leave me alone. Oh, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
listen. Here's the beauty of having a parent as an artist, right? Or an artist as a parent, however you want to look at it, right? Is because you get that true, unadulterated, stripped down funk, right? You get Clyde Stubblefield, right? You get James Brown at practice. You know what I'm saying? And so when you do that, though, the people around you get that raw inspiration and it turns into something else. It's like, wait a minute, you can do that? Like, I got that in my system? Yeah, I tell my kids all the time, like, you're a storm god's daughter or you're a storm god's son. Like, don't forget that. Like, don't forget where you come from, right? Because we do this for real. And the way that you deliver your work, man, that is exactly how your daughter should feel, right? You can only blame the future on you, right? And when you invest in yourself, you come up with work like that. Appreciate you, man. Truly, poet of extraordinary talent. Person, poet, like, listen, it goes that way. Appreciate you, man, for real. Shout out Zach Frater in the building, too. Appreciate you. All right, look, let's keep it going. Coming up next, I see this gentleman has his instrument strapped on, and that is always a great sign. This cat comes through to give us balance to this crazy week of ours, all the way out in the Pacific Northwest. The one and only Joski C in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you, Joski. It is always great to see you. Please, take it away.
Hey, Elemental. Coming through?
Coming through like a rock star, Joski. Come on, man.
2 very short poems and a song. Okay. This is simply to note, I think it's important to note this. 100. 100 soldiers That's how it starts. 100 trainers. That's how it starts. 100 advisors. That's how it starts. How does it end, and when, and what till then? This is kind of rude. I hope you'll forgive me and ride with this. This is Donald Trump, an origin story. The devil took a dump, flushed 10 to 15 times, then gazed at his creation in the bowl. One rogue stool, a splashy fool, with shit for brains he rules the pool. With shit for soul, he tweets upon his golden bowl. The devil took a dump and called it Donald Trump. And so, thanks for tolerating that. So Donald Trump continues to spout his anti-immigrant racist tropes. And I think it's very important to remember what things were like last time. This is called Border. Here at the border, we knock on your door, speaking to your hearts. Ask them to open, running from danger. How could this happen? Into the ice cold hands of these kidnappers in the asylum. To the West Loco. ¿Dónde está mi niño? ¿Dónde está tu corazón? Here at the border, we travel so far, hope for our children, that's what you stood for. Running from danger, how could this happen? Into the ice cold hands of these kidnappers in the asylum. To the West Loco. ¿Dónde está mi niño? ¿Dónde está tu corazón? In the asylum. To the West Loco. You kidnap our children. You kidnap our children. ¿Dónde está mi niño? ¿Dónde está tu corazón?
Joski's pretty damn incredible in what he does. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Joski. See?
Now you could really play that thing. That was great. That was just really good.
Thank you so much, Joski. We really do need to keep remembering those people are baby cagers.
Not to mention, they're still missing from their parents from back then. And,
Yes. Yes.
thing with
There's
us
like
is like so yesterday.
1,500 children.
I think what I love that you do, Joski, is like it's so heavy, but it's so pretty, you know. And I appreciate that.
And the press doesn't tell you why they are still missing.
Exactly. That's my point. You know, it was just that's yesterday's news or some other year, and they just don't ever go there again. So
Or
it's so important
tomorrow's
to hear it.
news, or tomorrow's news again, unless we all turn out and vote and make sure.
That's it. That's exactly it.
It's a
I'm pleading
debate
with
point.
everyone.
It's a debate point, folks. Like, come on, it's not a real issue. It's a debate point. You know what I mean? We're talking about cats and dogs. Like it's a debate. Like it's not real. Just like climate change, it's not real, right? Like you said, just move it on to the next news cycle. It matters not, right? Did you hear what the president had for dinner though? Like, you know, did you know his socks didn't match? Like, so, like what? Um, Joski, like what you do, man? Like the way that you wrap your lyrics into your cadence, right? The poems, like this is how it starts. How does it end? I love that. In the song, man, running from danger. How could this happen? In the asylum, todo es loco, right? ¿Dónde está tu corazón? And I really, really love how you put in the work on that, right? Because it forces everyone to understand that, because that goes beyond religion, color, creed, race. Where's your heart? Where is your heart? And if you don't know, ask Joski. He'll play for you and it'll come out bleeding and crying and like, oh, Joski, I didn't know. Appreciate you, Joski, for doing what you do, man. You're pretty incredible with it. Thank you. All right. Coming up next to close out our guaranteed list this evening, this gentleman continues to come through. Again, always on the move. Got the sky in his background, ready to make something else work. The one and only Warren Dixon in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you. Great to see you as always, bro. Come on, take it away.
Elemental. Who's the greatest? Elemental. Yes, he is. That was a little Bob the Builder for you. Anyway, good to see you, Elemental. Good to see everybody else. I do have one poem that I'm going to share. So I don't know if most of you all were here last week, but I did a poem in honor of ADHD Awareness Month. And tonight I'm going to switch it up a bit. This poem that I'm going to read, it's in honor of Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So for any domestic violence survivors, victims, yeah, this poem is dedicated to you all. So without further ado, this poem is called If Love Is. If love is what fixes every deepened wound, then why am I hurting? If love is the answer to every problem, then why am I questioning? If love is the sunshine on a dark day, then why am I feeling cold? If love is a miracle potion that keeps you young, then why am I feeling old? If love is what makes the world go round, then why am I stuck standing still? If love is the Band-Aid that protects all of your cuts, then why am I not yet healed? If love is the only thing that is true, then why do I doubt? If love demands you to be faithful, then why do I want to bail out? If love is what you claim to be giving, then why am I always crying? If love is what you say you're doing, then why inside am I dying? If love is when you hold my throat, then why do they say I should want it? If love is when you call me names, then why do they say I should like it? If love is the night you pin me to the ground, then why is everyone searching for it? If love is the way you slam me against the wall, then why is it crushing my spirits? If love is the thing I'm receiving from you, then why am I always bruised? If this is love, I do not want it. Love is sacred and not abuse. Poem.
So freaking out. Love is sacred, not abuse. Love is sacred, not abuse. Love is sacred, not abuse. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Warren Dixon.
Thank you, Warren. Thank you, man. Love
Tough poem. You know, you pointed up the thing, the love hustle. That's one of the very hardest lessons for anybody to get initiated to in life is when somebody's trying to do the love hustle.
That was just one of the most realist things I've ever heard. I mean, I just like from the first line to the last line, I felt held by the throat against the wall. You know, I felt everything you were giving out, and I wanted to hold you back. Hold you also.
Listen. As I said, when you come in to write things like that, that is the work. Okay. And 2 weeks in a row, you've been hitting us with the real deal, Holyfield with both ears. Seriously, you really just been putting in your time and your work in the things that you need to work on, right? And this was right on par with the last one, right? If love is, right? If love is what you're saying you're doing, then why inside am I dying? Right? Like, abuse is not love, folks. Manipulation is not love, folks. And if you don't know the difference, you're probably being abused. For some, right? They're so blinded by these things, right? But thank you for being strong enough and fearless enough, courageous enough to write about it and say the things that you said. We truly appreciate you. Keep bringing that work, man. For real, love when that dude comes through. Appreciate you, man. For real. All right, let's get to this good luck round for all these incredible folks who came to rock with us. Coming up first on the good luck round, saw her post earlier, finally got these kids to bed, damn it. It's been a long day, but she is still here, ready and willing to rock with us. The one and only Elizabeth Horan is in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you. It is always great to see you. Please take it away.
Hi, everybody. Warren, fuck. I mean, I respect that so much. I do because, you know, like I've been called like a confessional poet. And I hate that term because it's like confession sounds like you're doing something wrong, right? You did something wrong. Or like you're so brave, you can write that stuff. It's just what it just is your life. It's just what you've like I don't know. I have big props for you, kiddo. Like you're doing it. So along those lines, last week, Paul said, like, this is the place for you to be able to come and share the things that are hard. So I'm going to read this one. And thank you all just for being here, for sharing, for holding each other closely and in safety. I mean, it's hugely important how safe this group is, and I love, that's why I come, you know, I love it. So this is called Why I Love Owls. Do you know what it's like to be fat? Fat is like being thrown out a car door for not knowing how to suck cock. Do you know what it's like to hate myself to the core for being thrown out a car door for not knowing how to suck cock for being fat? Do you know what it's like to try to die from the act or non-act of eating? It's like being called fat over and over again and then being thrown out a car door for not knowing how to suck cock and for being fat. Do you know what it's like to fail to die and the pathetic fail of trying to die from the selfish act of eating and or the selfish act of non-eating or the act of throwing up one's insides like a selfish little bitch who is a whiny piece of shit about her stupid, wasted life? It's like being fat. It's like being called a fat les. Like wishing I was a fat les instead, like failing at gagging oneself, like failing at gagging oneself with a disgusting cock, in the hopes of some kind of acceptance by an asshole wannabe logger named Eli, who hath monickered you fat troll, who tells you to suck his disgusting dick in a Chevy S10 with not enough buds to ever make it doable, tolerable. And he takes your last smoke, the one you would need to later nurse the choke, and he pushes you, you, a drunk and gibbering, fat troll monikered, misused, mistaken, missing teen, out of a gaping door of a truck. Thanks for nothing but a fucking shitty blowjob. Then he drives off, just like that. And then suddenly, you are not fat. Neither are you cum-stained. And you think, is that not an owl? Owls don't hate fat girls. Neither would an owl make you give them a blowjob. Owls simply don't behave like that. And that is what it's like to be fat. And that is also why I love owls. Thank you very much.
Owls don't get blowjobs? Unmute yourself. Give it up for Elizabeth. Hooray!
Oh, Elizabeth, so powerful.
Elizabeth, that was like beyond beauty, you know? That was incredible, and just incredible. And what you said early on about confessional poetry, that was a good insight into the word confession and things like that. But one of the things about this community is that we love each other so much. We'll catch us on all ends of the spectrum. And that is sometimes, and it happens here, just like, you know, but I'm saying this because that was exactly what you said it was. It was powerful. It was honest. It was what you had to say. It is why you're here. It is the work you're doing. It is your life. And no one should tell you not to care for it. No one ever. So that part is cool. But also what happens here, but beyond what you said, but the subject you brought up is that we're capable of also being critical of being critical and then being critical of that. And that makes our community really, really strong, because sometimes one of the things I want to do before I die is write a book called The Parameters of Good. And I've listened to a lot of bad poems, and I've written more than my share to understand that there's a parameter to the word of good and right. And when you get beyond that boundary, that's one of the things about poetry communities that really is unsurpassable with other art forms, because we deal with these sharp things called fucking words, otherwise known as knives, machetes, and shovels. Sometimes they hurt. And when they, but all that, I'm gonna pipe down, but that's not easy for me. But I love you all, and that was good work, and I love you for doing it. Thank you.
Now, Elizabeth, for being somebody who came here, I hope you don't mind my commenting on this, but I did witness you say sometimes you come here and feel like you have to compete. And I think after what you just did, you're leaving everybody else feeling like that. And what really struck me with that poem was how you so unassailably illustrated the logic of surviving, and how you're able to arrange you externalize this experience, and that's how you arrange it in a way where you are the person who is in control and has advantage of it. And that's not to say, of course, this was a very damaging experience, but really take it to heart that you've accepted the encouragement to be here. And, as I say, just be you. That's all anybody here expects. And I think, following, I don't want to drag on too long here because we're running late, but following what CC said about, we can be critical of being critical and then be critical of that. I think that's just a very important insight, but you did break open this this kind of orientation about what I call, ego-based confessional poetry. And to me, there's a stark difference, and it depends on what the person's motive is. And there's a difference between doing ego-based confessional poetry that's kind of testimonial, or doing it in a way where the audience is expected to be your therapist. You know what I mean?
Right.
I like that. Joski.
Thank you.
Yeah, hey, I just wanted to say there are many owls where I live, and I hear them every night, but I will never hear them in quite the same way now, Elizabeth.
Right. Because every time I hear Al go, whoo, I'm be thinking, is that Al getting a blowjob? Like, is that Al getting down? Is his feathers getting ruffled up in the tree? And he just, you know what I mean? But no, honestly, on the real deal, no, on the real deal, it really was the kind of heavyweight work. Again, that's the kind of poetry that regains your power, right? When you're talking about a situation where somebody is degrading you, is denigrating you in a situation, right? And then you see, you know what? I bet this person wouldn't treat me like this. I bet this aspect of my life wouldn't treat me like I was something less than, right? And it just so happens that the owl was there. And listen, that's a badass owl, because he was like, who, me? No, I wouldn't treat you like that. Who, me? No, I wouldn't drop you off like that. I would have took you all the way home. I would have loved you and still love you today. Some whatever, you know what I mean? So I love the fact that you, again, are strong enough, fearless enough to write about this, and for that owl to be that point that guided you through that night. Otherwise, we may be having a very different conversation if not for that owl. So I thank you. I thank you for sharing that with us and for regaining your strength and power in that poem. Truly appreciate you. All right. Coming up next, I believe we have a new voice in the building, folks. And listen, this person is coming here and it's like, listen, I got something that I got to get off my chest, so we gonna make sure that we make room for it. Please unmute yourself, Miss Luciana. Let us know, is this your first time rocking with us? First of all, welcome to the greatest community in the world. But please let us know, is this your first time rocking with us?
Here and on Zoom, yes.
Yes, fantastic. Where are you plugging in from?
I'm in West New York, New Jersey.
Okay, Jersey in the building. Listen, this is the homies in New Jersey, right? Storm God's in the building. Shout out Evolution Culture. Shout out NJ Pack. Shout out Maddie Amato Keen. Listen, there's so many folks in Jersey. Listen, we appreciate you coming through the Zoom. You know what I mean? You see how it's been going. Welcome to the greatest community in the world. Let these folks know where they can find you. Please just do what you do. Again, welcome. Take it away.
Thank you so much. My Instagram is LB Fisher. I don't post much, but if you want to find me, I'm there. I have two quick poems to read. My uncle passed away yesterday, and I wrote something for him today. And it's quite, I don't know if it's finished, but so I will read the other one first. I no longer wear makeup, not on my skin, cheeks, nose, or on my chins, but on my lips. No, I do not use makeup. You can touch. I am as raw and bare as one can witness or dare to stare, nor do I mince my words either, which, like my poor handwriting, I no longer feel shame in sharing. No, no makeup. I am uneven. There's no contouring in these raw wrinkles of mine that, although still feel, are no less real than the more than few sprinkles of the pancake powder I used to put on my face to hide the age or the rage of having to put on my best face for having the pressing need to impress, because the foundation of my base was shaky, making the connection between my mind and heart hazy. Can you feel it? No, I no longer wear makeup because I no longer need a mask to cover that I am a mess. And because I couldn't care less if you come to love me more or any less. I do it for myself, to remove me from the shelf and break free from my shell. No, I do not do makeup. I choose to stand here naked, wearing no makeup, not on my face, my soul, nor through my pen, which I use willingly to break free from all the pain, ready to share and accept all that I am and remain unrefined and unfiltered, unafraid to soak up the rain, because I no longer carry any shame, yet I am the same. But no, I no longer wear makeup because I no longer need to make up who I am. Poem. For my uncle. My uncle is a great man. The man I knew and admire, my uncle, has retired, but he will never cease to do what's required. No, not my uncle. His legacy will continue to inspire. My uncle was a hard worker, a family man, a blue-collar doer who tirelessly met every task, doing what was needed without being asked. He was devoted to his wife and children, endlessly doting on his grandchildren, a man who charted and treaded his own way through life, always doing things his way or no way, an authentic, passionate man in his armor, deserving of so much more, yet he chose to give us more, even when his day ended with a pour. My uncle sang and lived the blues through the youth and truth of his own battles and booze. Yes, my uncle danced the dire straits with Walker. Indeed, he was a charmer and a talker, a joker, a biker, and a rocker. He faced the highway to hell and back and came back a victor. And though he pulled some stunts more than once, he captivated us all with his blunt confronts, always treading with love on all fronts. A man of morals and core values that never devalue. For him, strength of character truly mattered. Though not without flaws, my uncle was a man deep in thought of bygone eras, perhaps holding dreams and unspoken terrors, yet his love broke through all barriers. I choose to believe without grief that on Tuesday, October 16, 2024, my uncle decided to walk out that door. He decided he would not suffer anymore. To end his tenure, my uncle got on his bike and for one last adventure, to feel the road once more beneath his tires and rekindle the flame of his desires. With the wind on his face, he faced even death with grace, fighting freedom in the speed, riding lightning fast to regain his speech. Ride on, uncle, rage on. He stormed out the highway to the pearly gates of heaven, knowing that you are loved by more than your legacy, your 7. Feel God's embrace while we feel your love echoing through space. My uncle did not leave us. He lives through his children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren to come. My uncle was loved. He is still beloved. Yes, he retired as he decided, but he is forever unexpired. Boom.
Now that, folks, is how you show up and show the hell out. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Luciana.
Luciana, that really was a gorgeous, gorgeous introduction. What a way to step out of your entire facade of what life told you were and what you are and who you are and how you are, and say no and become what you were meant to be when you arrived here, to do your life work and your soul work. What that was a maybe one of my favorite ever introductions of self and selflessness and courage and like you say, the nakedness of it all. And that is the ride. What you said doesn't end. You stay on that wild horse. You ride that baby. That's a bike. You ride that bike. You're gonna have a great life if you live what you just wrote.
That was
yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. The amazing Luciana, like, condolences, what a beautiful poem about your uncle. And the line and the makeup, like, I don't have to make up, I'm paraphrasing, powerful. I see on your Instagram page, have you performed recently at one of our Nuyorican Bowery slams?
Yes,
Oh my
the
God,
Bowery,
it's amazing. Welcome here on Zoom. Paul, go ahead, boys. Wow.
Well, I mean, you're going to the slam, so you're going to get things worked out there, and that's why it's coming off so nice here. But you have this beautiful line, I choose to believe without grief. And I think that really kind of the headline to that really beautiful eulogy that poem was. Thanks for coming here, and keep coming back. You get a different payoff here than live slam, but I think you'll find it at least reward as much, as rewarding. Thanks for coming.
And there are people I love more and appreciate more that have entered the competitive arts of slam, and the ones that survive 5, 10, 15 years later are the ones that never competed ever. Even though you're in a in other words, slam. I always used to say when slam first showed up in Boston, and it didn't exist. It went right from Chicago to Stone Soup. That was the trek from that little place in Chicago, from that ring, from that performance to the little bar, and then Michael Brown and Patricia Smith brought it right into Jack Power's venue and asked if they could do it there, and since then, I've known hundreds of people enter into that right from a cold start of the art form. And the ones that entered into it where the concept and the art form needed them more than they needed the art form. They're the ones who never competed and ended up winning and going to slams and being champions and but they never let the titles get to them. And most of them that made it to best in the nation, I'll finish this thought, most of them that made it to best of the nation or won on the winning team, after that, a lot of them stopped slamming and went out and became straight up performance artists and poets and authors.
Now that's a fact. Now that I can co-sign, right? As far as cats who get to that level, right? Get to that national level on a slam team or individual, and then they're just like, you know what, I'm done with that now. Right? I don't have time. I don't have the capacity to memorize poems and kind of gear up for, the slam team realm. I'm just about facilitating. I'm just about teaching or learning or writing or podcasting or whatever the case is. So I totally get that. Listen, first of all, and secondly, and thirdly, welcome to the online community. Welcome to the greatest community in the world. You are rocking with the best. We do this every Thursday. You come through with lines like that. Hide the age or the rage for having to put on my best face. No longer need a mask to cover up that I am a mess. Fuck out of here. Like, come on. No, come on. Like that I do not do makeup. Like that hits me hardcore because that's just something that I've heard before. I don't do makeup, right? Like it's just work. You say you're new to it. Putting in that work and the emphasis that you put it in and the way that you're writing it, you're gonna be a problem. You're gonna be something that people are gonna have to deal with. right? So what I need you to do is make sure you have more of those. If you want to get into that slam world and that slam life, come with more of those. So next week, bring the next round. If that was round 1, right? The next week, bring your round 2 poem. And let's get down. Appreciate you for coming through. All right. Coming up next, listen. This cat, I've seen this cat. And listen, I love when this dude has his instrument too. No matter if he's in the bathroom, no matter if he's got his telephone or if he's doing comedy, this cat's all kinds of incredible. Trust and believe. And when he has his instrument, it's just something totally different. The one and only Catman Bill is in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you. Catman, always great to see you. Please take it away.
Thank you, Elemental. Well, my YouTube thing is under Catman Bill, if you want to open it up. But a little over a week ago, I flew out to Mississippi to enjoy 2 days at the Mississippi Blues and Gospel Festival in little county of Avalon. And most of them were playing John Hurt music. I chose instead to play my own, but anyway, I thought I would play a Hurt tune tonight here. I've always considered him my musical godfather for some reason, but for me personally, the highlight was when Monday morning I drove to the Elemen2al Museum about 40 miles away, and was very touched by the presentation that they have. And probably the thing that means most to me is a little thing that I brought back of a very young Elemen2al. And so here's a song. Miss Collins weep, Miss Collins moan to see her son Louis leaving home. The angels laid him away. The angels laid him away. They laid him 6 feet under the clay. The angel laid him away. Oh, Bob shot once and Louis shot 2. Shot poor Colin, shot him through and through. The angel laid him away. Oh, kind friend, oh, aged heart, to see poor Louis in the new graveyard. The angel laid him away. The angels laid him away. They laid him 6 feet under the clay. The angel laid
know, there is just something about the way that you play that instrument that just seems to just sink in my soul, man. I don't know how you do it. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Cat Man
So
Bill.
It's just so peaceful, so smooth.
So
The plant
peaceful.
itself is poetry.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Musicianship is definitely poetry. It is one of the most silent poetic things that a person can do is play an instrument, right? All the resident musicians in here that get down what they do, it's extremely poetic, in my opinion. And then when you start touching on subjects like that, you start tugging on people's heartstrings while you're plugging your guitar strings, and each fret, I can bet you're touching people in a way that they never thought. So I thank you. I thank you for staying dedicated to it and doing what you do, for walking those spaces and feeling those things and bringing them and sharing them with us. We appreciate you, sir. Thank you. All right, closing us out this evening, our resident superhero is in the building. This incredible artist has been rocking with us for years, and she continues to make space for poets, for artists, for writers in so many different aspects, so many different ways. I like to call her the daughter of Krypton. The one and only Finn Bell is in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you. It is always great to see you. Plus, it's been too damn long. Please take it away.
It's good to see you too, Elemental and Poetry Familia. So 2 poems from me, if you guys will allow. The first poem, I was actually inspired to do a little tinkering on it during the session. So this is maybe about a month old poem. So it's going to be really rocky because I added some stuff just within this hour. So this is called Katao Balay, which roughly translates to a selkie. A girl can become a ghost ship daughter, sailing to a country that she learns later will not adopt her. A fish split clean through the middle, a hasty gutting upon the dock. See the departing shoreline. A girl can become the knife-sharp syllables of its language, can lose the ocean breeze, soft syllables, the swaying gold stalk palay of her native dialect. A girl can become dividend, a sea nymph, landlocked, regenerate shaky leg expectations, too rapidly for her own bones to carry them. A siren can forget her first dwelling, wanderlust, swam in ever-shrinking circles, can still be called leaving. Fault the travel in and out of too many unknown ports for the loss of each pearl comprising her scaled fishtail. Sunrake capture flung high, captured light in the act of falling. Inside the submerged womb of ocean, they will line a people's lineage, 7,000 caskets adrift, ashes windswept, identity scattered. A girl can become a heritage dispossessed, so much half-dead flotsam, a corpse awoken, death rattle gasp, pulled downward, led home, soon forgotten, a perceived mercy. And then I want to close with one of my favorite poems from Jericho Brown's book, The Tradition. It's called Dear Whiteness. Come, love, come lie down, love, with me. In this king-size bed where we go numb for each other, letting sleep take us into ease. A slumber made only when I hold you or you hold me, so close. I have no idea where I began. Where do you end? Where you tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies about what I mean to you when I've labored all day and wish to come home like a war hero lost an arm. That's how I fight to win you. To gain ground, you are welcome to divide and name. See how this mouth opens to speak what language you allow me, with the threat of my head cradled safe. Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies of what you require, intimacy so industrious that when I wake to brush you from my own teeth, I see you in the mirror. I won't stay too long. When you look in that mirror, it will be clean. You will be content seeing only yourself. Was I ever there? Tell me lies. Tell me. Tell me lies. Thank you.
That's such a damn heavyweight line. Oh my goodness. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Finn Bill.
Finn, beautiful.
Yeah, I just want you to, whatever reading I go to, I need you to come and just speak my poems for me. That's it.
No doubt.
I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't. I would not want to be robbed of the honor of hearing you do your poetry. Only the way that you could do it. I have to have my skiff master consumption per week. Yeah.
Appreciate that. Love the line in the first poem, a girl can become a heritage dispossessed. And I don't think, I don't want to contradict your own perception, but I mean, it wasn't apparent to me what lines you've added. So I think it came off really clean.
Thank you. Thank you.
You have a lot of beautiful lines. You got a couple of heart stoppers, mind openers. You're a good writer. I love your work.
Thank you, Cece. Thank you. You guys inspired me. I was picking from things that you said, especially Elizabeth, who's my heart connection. I just that poem and the owl at the end. I had to add to this poem for some reason, and whatever metastasized from that, it was just magical and visceral and everything. It was everything. So thank you
Did
guys.
you hear that, Elizabeth?
Oh, come through with the wet paint, though. Come through with the inspiring the wet paint. I love that, right? That's what this is about. I haven't heard that in a while, right? But it's just like, oh, yo, I had to get this out. Like, oh, did you hear that? Like, oh, no. Listen, if I wasn't so focused on hosting, every single week I could write so many poems from what all of you conjure and what you create. I just happen to be one of the luckiest cats in the world that I get to host you amazing artists because you're phenomenal. Like I got inspiration like dripping out of every pore, man. Like y'all are crazy with it. For real. She said, the sea nymph, right? A perceived mercy, even a ghost ship daughter. That just took me somewhere else. In the Jericho Brown piece, she said, how this mouth opens to speak the language you allow me. When I wake to brush you from my own teeth, I see you in the mirror. God. I don't appreciate you being all up in my gums and shit. Like I just don't appreciate that shit. But there are people that dig that far. You know what I mean? Thank you, Finn Bell, for doing what you do. Let's end the night like this. I actually saw this earlier today. I wasn't going to leave this cat out, but I wanted to make sure that this cat was paying attention. We're going to close the night like this. This next artist always seems to come through with the most grandiose, with the most charisma, with the most energy, the host of the one and only Slam Jam. Oh yeah, brother. Get yourself ready for what this cat is about to do in all of his glory, in all of his splendor. The one and only Dre Reyes is in the building. Let these folks know where they can find you. It's always great to see you. Come on, man. Take it away.
Hey, everybody. Hopefully I'm not
I don't know, ruining the night here by having my performance here. Thank you for having me. Thank you for being able to fit me in. Um, glad to be able to be a part of this evening. From what I've heard, it's been as typically, phenomenal, but it's just a little extra every time, which is so therapeutic in so many ways. Anyway, I got two pieces here. I don't know, just dealing with some weird shit at work. Getting this racist vibe from one coworker has made me want to just throw this piece out. And I'm gonna write at some point, but here's life in survival mode. Life is the ultimate simulation video game our parents pre-ordered without regarding its contents. The minority United States pre-ordered DLC sucks. I would like a refund, but no refunds are are issued when life is set on survival mode. And that is what you do. Survive. Survive through trial and error. Learn what it is to thrive in a seemingly never-ending cycle. Even if the results are not desirable at first, survive. When there are no other options, survive. As much as you try to survive and be the best version of yourself possible, there are always going to be those who view you as public enemy number one. There are always going to be those who refuse to look into the mirror, who deflect and overlook their flaws, painting them on your own canvas, painting you to look like some kind of jackass. Yes, there are always going to be those who instantly forget all the good you've put out and villainize you and morally sentence you without trial at the first given opportunity, shining a big spotlight on a fallacy that's the light's intensity has blinded them. There will be people who blindly purchase lies without reading the price tag nor the package contents, proceeding to make a mess regardless. Forgiveness is the first step towards salvation. Forgive them, for they do not know any better. Their instinct is to jump to conclusions, shoot first, then don't ask questions, passing judgments like kidney stones, pissing out processed pain like processed food. Research and investigation is not valued here. How do you think so many cold cases for murder in New Hampshire exist? Cases colder than the winters that have been in the past couple of years. Global warming is not to blame for the incompetency or perhaps corruption. Who knows? Both wear similar garments here. Nobody pitches any no-hitters or perfect games on this field. It is impossible to go throughout life without making mistakes. However, nobody should be casting any stones, for we are all sins looking for forgiveness. May the silence of their hypocrisy scream and echo in eternity. May the welts from their pelting reduce in swelling over time. May the scars from the wounds depict a story of survival. Survive and thrive out of spite. Control your narrative. It's the only one you get. And that's first piece. And I got this one real quick called Reassurance. I've been looking forward to be hitting the stage with style and grace, so allow me to lace my shoes before I start tripping all over the place, falling face first. My heart is racing at the thought of wasting your time. I've wined and dined with kings and queens, and I slept in an alley eating pork and beans into a food coma, becoming a ghost of the unseen until I wake in the cold, shaking like a fiend, deprived of not of vice but of shelter. Please let me in. I have walked through battle cry and sin, breathing out, breathing in what feels like cement filling up my ribcage, solidifying and encapsulating my inner mage. However, I am trying my best to manifest this ideal life, and I refuse to settle for less as I break through the mess of stress while the rest doesn't matter. Oh yes, how I longed for the caring caress of neurotypicality. Never knowing when the doomsday clock will strike midnight, I'm calm like a bomb, trying all my might to not get ticked at the world, to not be so frantic, tick, 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 of all the what ifs and what nots, making me question my thoughts. My brain It's tied in knots with random thoughts and it never stops. The brakes have been gone a long, long time ago, but the mind's not the mind, amigo. So reassure me. Let me know that everything is going to be okay. Poem. Thank you.
Sometimes it's the reassurance that makes all the difference, man. Just that simple thing. Unmute yourself. Give it up for Dre Reyes.
I feel reassured when I see you, Dre. I just do.
Great way to end the evening. Glad you clocked in.
Absolutely. I appreciate you, sir. You know, listen,
Survive.
work crazy. Things get crazy, life gets crazy, life gets bananas sometimes, and sometimes all you really need is just a space to be, right? And this is that space for you to just be. As loud, as bananas, as crazy as you need to be. Sometimes this is the space for you to be as quiet as you need to be and say the things that need to be said. And we appreciate you for taking the time to be here and say those things that need to be said. Listen, folks, to all of you who have come through, from the opening poet, Michael Sindler, to our closer, Andre Reyes, I thank you all for being here this evening, for rocking with us. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you have been rocking with us this evening. We truly appreciate all of you. Listen, make sure you're plugging into the Nuyorican Poets Cafe. Plug into the website, get yourself some merch representing your part of the world. Make sure we are spreading poetry in the best of ways and helping others to join the greatest community in the world. Listen, it has been a great night. We are going to end the night like this until we meet again. May this energy we conjured this evening supercharge the rest of your week. Take this power, inspire others, energize creativity as we all hope to do through the spirit of Miguel Agarin. Your voice is appreciated, necessary, and always valuable in this space. Thank you for sharing it with us. On behalf of the greatest community in the world, it has truly been a pleasure spending Thursday night with y'all. Until next week, peace and blessings.